se le ona le pothole meeting wa rona swa municipality ba tla ba municipality bontate Gadebe or bomme Lerato yalo akere ba tlo itlhalosa hore ditshebeletso tsa municipality ba di tsamaisa yang kaofela re itse dikgwetlo tsa lona ka mara val mara kopano ya rona ke lo reng e tshwana ya ka ili one ha e tshwane le dikopano tsa di municipality mo nang le di councilor mo a rena di councilor re na le di members tsa parliament a rona mo Gauteng. They represent a mandate that relates to oversight, scrutiny, public participation, and lawmaking. Again, so I don't know le shahidi bo le bo bonang motlhomo le filore marmolao wa o sa tisiwe. You can sponsor that view here. Ha ile re motlhomo le bona ile re ona le matsapa that relates to the steel industry in the Vaal. This is the opportunity and the platform. Ha ile re ona le ba dikgwebo ha o sana ntshwele re bizang dikgwebo potlana. Our business is business. Department of Trade and Industry. It will change the MSMEs. I say the SMMEs. MSMEs. Mara nete fela go ra ona ntho ba reng ke business e nyane. A kere la o rekisa maybe magwenya mo le ke business ao. Only as if you are running a macro a business. I lo motlomo wena wa roka somewhere. Own your business and take pride in it. A kere so re ba tlo rotloetsa ba holo. Mar mo thotloetseng ya rona mo wa also as members of this committee not coming here blind to the issues of this area ya in Fuleni and beyond. Again, so re na le kitso ya re wetsalang in Fuleni, mar re na le kitso ya re wetsalang in our province Parapara. Mo malobe mo lutlwile our number one citizen Ndate Ramaphosa president ya rona kaofela akere a seka kganye ya moruo wa naga ya rona wa South Africa and then le rona re le committee be re sheba gore mar mo province ya rona what is happening and we want to discuss those issues le lona or re batla gore e nne lona ba ile gore you surface these issues. We are worried gore whilst the Gauteng provincial government ina le lenaneo la o tsamaisa ditshebeletso across all the departments, lenaneo ba le bitsa ba re growing Gauteng together. Lenaneo le le warno moruo wa rona tshwantse o gole as a province was seen the opposite. Again, there's a slow growth, but there's a lack of inclusivity in a number of programs. If you will, our growth will have not been above 2%. So we're worried about that. We've also made an assessment about the labor force survey in Q3 to look at the number of jobs that we've lost. Quite significant numbers. Again, and we're worried. And that is why we're coming to all of you. How are you complementing the effort of government to sustain your businesses in a way that will contribute into the labor growth of our provincial market? So ke lona ba tshwantse le fane ka dikarabo tse. Again, mara worried about a number of other issues that relates to a number of high value sectors, mining. We're worried about the steel industry, we're worried about the construction, we're worried about the extent and the rate at which we're growing some of the industries. Agro-processing being one of them. Agriculture. Agriculture. And about to rotloetsa mo mosong wa gajiwa. Or araska ikran retsa dilo tse wane ba botle. Wa kra ka mara tropo a rona ya Vaal. Ba botle re bula di saloon. ba botle re bula di internet cafe. We are not going to grow our economy. Again. And lenaneo le leng le loreng department na lona ke ntse re bitsa market township economic development act. Again. Re batla hore le re bolelle lona hore lefapha le kgono le fitlhella na or lona le kgono fitlhella lefapha le gore le thusane le lona mo dikgwebong tse le nang le tsona or mo mananeo a le nana hore a tshwantse a tsamaisiwe mo setšhabeng. A ke re la utlwa bagolo. So in the main, that is our purpose of why we are here this morning. O re tlo seka-seka seemo sa moruo wa rona wa province. Mara re ba tlo utlwa mo lona. So rona re lebileditse lefapha gore le buisaneng le bona. A ke re, but we are going to do that in a structured fashion. Gore ra ithulaganya. La nouta ditletlebo tsa lona mara re complain fela mo re filang gore motlhomong re ka ntsha dintlha tse le gore di ka thusa lefapha gore le tiise mošomo wa lona ra ba bontsha ke so re tlo lefa monyetla o but ko tshimologong ke rata gore nka simolola ka o declare lefelo le according to rule 56 subsection 1 as well as a subsection 2 of our rules legislature as the precinct of the legislature. Kurauri lefilole banquet hallway re tsia jaka o ka re ko legislature meaning gore maitsholo a rona le ka mogoro tsamaisang kopano wa rona a tshwantse a tshwana kane o ka re ko legislature ya utlwala ke re baola meaning that are haole are rwane re bua a ile re remise le tsore no utuilwe ke modula stulo wa nakwana ke re ke bontshitse mo le ke modula stulo wa nakwana so ro rana meeting wa rona ya mara ke itse batho ba mo vale le batho ba Gauteng lona la defrostana so I cannot doubt. I don't have any doubt about that. Again, so re tlo simolla ona le bontate le bo mme ke re la ba bona mo morao mole ona le dilo ba di bitsa di booth a ke itse di booth ke nka Sotho mabogisi a puiso a ke re na go tshwantse lo tse o di tlhametla mabogisi a la ke re la bona ba di bitsa di translation booth mo ne ba ile re motho a gone o utlwa ka se nisimane ka se go because the presentations are not ditlotse wa ka se go bontate le bo mme ba le go morago ba thusana le rona ona le dilo tse la di bona ba di bitsa di translation devices so ha ile re motlomo o tswafisa ke se go e sengwe ra o sutli mara sena le o tswafisa ke re ya tswafisa polelwe a sa bo rona wa mona o khono o utlwa ka yona polelo mo channel 1 a ile re motlhomong ya o bora o nyego o utlwa ka Setsonga ra Sevenda ke channel 3 a ile re motlhomong o batlo o utlwa ka Zulu or Xhosa ke channel 4 and a ke zuru Zulu le Xhosa di kopana ga gare a di kopane fa ndi uzete mara ba di beile mo channeleng ya wana shimo Setswana le Sotho tsona ke di cousin di a relate yana di go channel 5 Africans yona ba beile le one gara a e kopane le polelo nngwe e go channel 6 so dilo tseo di tlo nna mo ke and then ko mathokong kwa rena le mme ke re la mona mme lo mobila ona shapile ntwe turquoise kala ela se green ke turquoise agere mme o le wetsa sign language mara ke batle re mo more okay mara ke rona le ba ba shebile mo TV so mme o le wetsa sign language ba ile reng motho ntse mo pela a gone o utlwa sentle mme mo lo thusa ka sign language a ke re ba gole so re tlo kopa ba ile reng bana le tlhoko ya di devices tse just to raise their hands and then le tlotlisetsi wa di devices tse di devices tsa bagolo di na le di track ha ke re di a trackiwa so ha o tswa fela ka monyako mole ya beepa it beeps so re kopa ra o ya toilet motlhomong o re tswela go ntle o itlwela mo seating or we isa ona go bomme le bontate bala kere because a re batlo re kore o itebetse o tswile ka yona the next thing o tshwere ke maponesa a re batle yao a ke re ra le rata so o tshwanetse re le sireletse so ke bo mang ba ba nang le tlhoko ya tshebeletso ya translation ba teng le se ka tshabang gape dipolelo tse dintsa tsa go borona se kwa kra o tshabile ke kopa re ba thuseng mone ya ke kopa re ba thuseng ya all right thank you very much a re ba thuseng a bele le na le moving a speed matso a lapa batho emela sebaka yeah, so long e re ke check re na le di counselara go na le ba ile reng ke di counselara go na le ba bogoshi a ke ra re ba tlonyatsa motho go na le di counselara tsa rona ka a rena di counselara ma counselara a emelle ke bona a ke ra no matso a mang a emeletse di translation booth a rena di counselara ne re batla di counselara gore le bona ba itse gore department e etsang a ke mara ba tshwenye maybe ba tla nna ntse ba fitlha a ntse re tswelela pele so bagolo re le dumedisitse we have given you the purpose of why we're here re tlo starta re na le di apology yeah let's take apologies so long yeah let's take apologies.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, stakeholders. I've got the following apologies. Maybe Moriarty, Member Mazindeba, Member Mfikwe, MEC, Member Nkani, and Chairperson Alberts. Thank you.
Okay. Ke kopa permission a lona re ke dule mo fatshe a ke re le mbone yeah le setse le mbone a ke bete le mbone a ke bete na okay ba sambane ba connect are tsamaiseng those devices are tshwenya nje se techniques There's a war in Russia. Members, there's a war in Russia. Missiles are all over there. It's a nice country. Remember, these trips are not just about it. We work very hard. Remember, must have a lot of pleasant places. No, I spoke to the chair. That decision was very ba ba leng go morao tsenang re batlo ra re starta e be lo ra ona movement ne a re tsene ba ba leng go morao kwa
Singapore, I can. Singapore.
Why is there this thing of Russia?
I can Singapore, but it changed its economy.
It's an Asian tiger.
Yeah,
Let's go
Singapore,
there
I can.
and go and learn more. You know, Russia, you may think it's safe. It's not safe. They may restrict us to go to certain places because it's unsafe. I don't want that kind of an environment. Let's go to Singapore and go and explore and try to at the same time have fun. So it's we can reflect ourselves. But I'm not going to get obviously. Again, it's big, but I'm saying let's go to a country where we can explore more. Russia, you are right, it's big, and you're not going to be able to go everywhere. Singapore, yeah, no, I'm substance. I'm saying let's go and maximize our time. Let's go to one of the Asian tigers. You know, Malaysia, Singapore, and what are the other ones? I think let's go there. Oh, the committee can briefing. It can apply itself again. No, we can convene a session. I agree on the chair. No, wait, let me advise you. I agree on the chair. Why are you meeting? We can say no, we're yeah? No. All right, Drasha, are we fine? Yeah. We are going to invite the department. You know? Let's invite the department. They are going to present their third quarterly report. I thought of a report and then let's go seka. Can you all see the presentation? Live on the screens. Yeah, I got a print that the report does so Rebecca in a smarter way because I'll print the lady for what in no waste again. So if you can just see closer, yeah, re-expand it so that everybody can see. We're fine. Okay, let's do that. Ntate Swiso mabele mo ke batla gore ba mama le batla device ya re ba emele pele ba kry device na because re tlo ba sia go morago ene bagolo re batlo le kopa ntshang dibukanyana tsa lona le kwaleng mo le sa tlhalwanyelela go tsisa kere ntate Swiso le wena o presenta se kwa berekisa mantswe a magologolo a sekgowa le di-acronimi wa kry batho ba sa itse gore bua ka eng zama o explaina kore mo o feelang gore mare this area e batla elaboration e tlhalosa kere ya mabele re ba bafe pele ba sammane ba fara
have done in the Sedibeng region. So that's an approach that we would be able to take. So in terms of the Q3 performance of the department, Chair, I will be very high level, but I would emphasize if there's any points that I need to make reference to. So the Department of Economic Development, just at the high level, in terms of the mandate, legislative as well as constitutional, we're responsible for driving economic growth, economic development, as well as transformation within the province. The community, as well as members, would be familiar with the 5-year implementation plan called the MTDP, which guides the entire government in terms of the work that we're doing. So it has 3 important pillars that are interrelated and that are interlinked. The first pillar, of course, it is inclusive growth and job creation. Second one, poverty reduction and tackling high cost of living. And then the last one is a capable, ethical, and developmental state. Of course, because of the mandate of the department, which I've shared in the foregoing slide, the department is a lead when it comes to inclusive growth and job creation. So what the department did, because we are expected to respond to the priorities of the medium-term development plan, Chair, we fashioned out the 8 areas of strategic focus, which include revenue enhancement, so that we can be able to fund and implement our policies, economic infrastructure, which, of course, GGDA will come and speak to some of the work that they are doing in terms of, for example, industrial parks, SEZs, among others, MSME development, the work that falls largely on the GEP, structural transformation of the economy. Of course, we have various policy instruments that the department is deploying to try and make sure that we transform the economy. Building a capable state, TIDA, Chair, in the opening did speak to the importance of township economic revitalization, as well as reindustrialization and research and development. So basically, this is 8 areas of strategic focus that guides the work of the department. Now, of course, you can see that this is a very diverse portfolio for the group. So what the department has done, we have different implementing agencies or entities that are responsible for each area for implementation. So, for example, there's a GGB, Gauteng Gambling Board, which is responsible for regulating and overseeing the gambling industry. We have GEP, the Gauteng Enterprise Propeller, which is responsible for financial and non-financial support of SMMEs. We have GGDA, which is a Gauteng Growth and Development Agency, which is responsible for facilitating trade, economic infrastructure, investment, and economic development projects. And then there's GTA, which is responsible for developing, promoting, and coordinating responsible and sustainable tourism. And then the last one, it is TASA. So that's the entire group portfolio of Department of Economic Development. So all colleagues that are coming from these agencies, they are here. They would be sharing their presentations as well. So the presentation that I'm tabling is a presentation on behalf of the department. Chair, just at a very high level, I'm happy to report that for the department during the quarter under review, which is Q3, the department was chasing 8 targets and we were able to achieve all the targets that we have set ourselves. And then in terms of entities combined, they were chasing 53 targets. They were able to achieve 47 of those targets, 89, and which means we translating to 89% in terms of overall performance. So 6 of the targets we're not able to achieve, at least on the part of entities. Chair, I've indicated that the department achieved all its targets, so I'm just double-clicking on the department here, zooming into a department. So these are 8 targets that the department were able to achieve. So the first set of targets are those that the work basically that the department is implementing to ensure that we improve the ease of doing business as well as improve preferential procurement. So, for example, the department has a responsibility to ensure that we pay all our invoices within 15 days. This is just to make sure that we improve liquidity of SMMEs. But also the department set itself a target of 40% on preferential procurement for women. The department was able to overachieve actually that target by 67%. Same applies with the target of 15% of youth preferential procurement. The department was able to achieve 57%. And then in terms of the preferential procurement for township enterprises, the department was able to achieve 19% against the target of 10%. Then the second set of targets that the department was achieving is basically the ones that have to do with capacitating SMMEs on legislation that is aimed at ensuring that the basic SMMEs are capacitated to protect the rights of consumers. So 100 of those 100 SMMEs were capacitated with Consumer Protection Act provisions as planned. And then the last one, and some of the members, I think they've raised a question, Chair, at some point to say, why does the department have indicators on its APP that speak to the work of agencies? So this is a rationale. So the department, because 74% of the budget of the department goes to implementing agencies for execution. Therefore, the department has a responsibility to ensure that the mandate, the objectives of the department, the money that has been given to agencies is used accordingly in line with good governance principles, and also they are meeting the targets that they've set for themselves. So we've got these targets that, 3 targets that we were chasing during the quarter under review. It's basically oversight targets. So we have set a target that says at least 85% of the targets that we have set for agencies, they must be achieved at minimum. The budget, 85% of the budget must be spent by agencies at minimum. I'm happy, Chair, to report that 103% of the budget was spent. Basically, there was an over expenditure during the quarter under review, and also against the target of 85%, the department was able to, the agencies were able to achieve 89%. Chair, this is just a quick slide to indicate where we are in terms of the department. So in quarter 1, Department of Economic Development was able to achieve all its targets. In quarter 2, we achieved 85% and we missed 2 targets. And then quarter 3, which is the quarter under review, we were able to achieve all our targets. Chair, this is the performance per entity for quarter 3. Chair, I'm happy to report that overall, or combined, the entities achieved overall performance of 89%. The best performing was TASES at 100%, GGDA followed at 89%, GGB at 88%, and GP at 87%, and GTA at 80%. Chair, this slide, I thought it's important to emphasize not only the areas that the department is excelling in, but the areas where the department is struggling, where indeed the solutions are still required. But of course, Chair, you'll remember that the department had achieved 0% in terms of the target against provincial procurement target for people with disability. We've only achieved 1%, which is still very low. However, I want to report, Chair, that 3 things have happened since quarter 2. We have met with the Association for Businesses Owned by People with Disability through the Office of the CFO. We have explained the processes on how to respond to requests for quotations. But also we have taken through the colleagues, the community in particular, on basically the nature of goods that the department procures. So we are hoping that as we're going to quarter 4, or in fact we're in quarter 4, we'll be able to improve this target. with the aim that in the new financial year, which is starting on the 1st of April, we'll be able to achieve, if not overachieve, this particular target. Chair, this is just the work that we have done in terms of GOD. So the department has taken an approach that says each and every work that we do, we have to be able to mainstream youth, we have to be able to mainstream people with disability in that work, we have to be able to mainstream, so yeah, it's youth, women, and people with disabilities, among other targeted groups. So this is, I won't go into details, but this is the work that we have done in terms of empowering GOD groups. So this is just the women. Through the program called Sector and Industry Development, the department was able to empower at least 60 women in various sectors, which include chemical, agro-processing, and creatives, as well as youth within the very same program, Sector and Industry Development, in the chemical sector, processing, as well as creatives. Same applies with people with disability through the very same program that I'm referring to, Sector and Industry Development. The department was able to empower people with disability. Same applies, senior citizens is also one of the targeted groups that the department was able to empower. So 96 senior citizens were supported respectively in the chemical, mining, and agro-processing and creatives. Of course, the details and clarity can be provided. So, Chair, that would be the report in terms of Q4. I request to go straight into the work that the department was able to do in Sedibeng region. I won't go into details because the agencies will be able to go to town, will be able to really go into substantive work that they've been able to do. So through our unit called Consumer Affairs, there's a lot of workshops that the department was able to run in the area of Sedibeng. For example, there was one in Everton Dube Church, Saul Tsotetse Hall, among others. So the idea here is to say, let's empower consumers so that they know their rights, because we deal with many instances where businesses will take advantage of consumers because they are not conversant with their rights. Then there's also a unit called Strategic Partnerships and Special Projects. Equally, there's a lot of non-financial support work that the department was able to do. For example, through the partnership with Coca-Cola, 6 spaza shops were benefited through renovation, container and mobile kitchen setup. Then in terms of, so basically, the long and short of it was saying that there's a lot of financial and non-financial support that went into these communities. Maybe lastly on the slide, Chair, is just to mention the partnership with Unilever to indicate that 106 SMMEs in catering were trained on food handling skills, as well as the formalization of their businesses. In terms of the work from inclusive economy, that is also the unit that is responsible for implementing TIDA. Colleagues are here, the township revitalization program. So through the inclusive economy, the department was able to run the cooperative governance and management training program. So basically, that's a program wherein we are supporting cooperatives, training them in financial as well as non-financial support. I won't go to town when it comes to others, Chair, because of time, as well as the work that the Gauteng Liquor Board is responsible for. We're able to raise some awareness, but also make sure that communities are aware of the work that we are busy concluding on the Gauteng Transformation Charter. I've already touched on the work of sector and industry development. That would be, yeah, so the last part of the presentation is just the work that we have planned to implement in Sedibeng region by the various business units in the department. It would be a part of the slides, Chair, that I will share with yourself so that I don't take much of the time, because the department also has another presentation on the adjusted budget. Chair, I request to stop here. I'm sure some of the issues will be raised during the discussion, and the department is here to clarify them. Through you, Chair, I request to take the adjusted budget quickly of the department. It's just 2 slides, and then I will allow for the next agency to...
Let's do that. I got some money late. La kwala again. Yeah. You must note everything.
Chair, I'll be very quick. This is in front of, projected is the adjusted budget for the Department of Economic Development. So in the total budget of the department, adjusted budget for the department, it is 1.7 billion. So the top part is just the breakdown in terms of a program, and then the bottom part is just a breakdown in terms of economic classification. I think key to highlight, Chair, is that trade and sector development program received the biggest chunk in terms of program, and the administration then received the least, business regulation and governance then received the least allocation. In terms of economic classification, the biggest chunk, it is transfers. So those transfers at the beginning of my presentation, I indicated that we've got agencies that are responsible for execution of policy on behalf of the GDD group, on behalf of the group. So almost 74% of the 1.7 billion goes to the agencies for implementation. So I think it's a part that will be very key to emphasize in this slide. Maybe the last slide, Chair, which is the last slide for my presentation, that I wanted to emphasize is just this slide, Chair. It provides now the breakdown in terms of the allocation in terms of the department, but also in terms of each agency that is part of the group, the GDD group. Maybe important, Chair, is to indicate that Gauteng Growth and Development Agency received the biggest chunk of the budget in terms of, so the amount is 684 million, and which is followed by, of course, the department at 436 million. And then, of course, the least budget goes to the 2 entities, which is Gauteng Gambling Board as well as Gauteng Liquor Board. And the reason that they receive the least allocation is because they are expected to generate revenue on behalf of the department. So we can't give people that are expected to generate revenue on behalf of the group more money. Chair, that would be the presentation on behalf of the department. I'm sure that through you, the other colleagues from the agencies would be available to follow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for
Thank you so much. Let's go to, so we're going to start with the Gauteng Growth and Development Agents. So department, it's one big department, but underneath it, in all the agents, the agencies that they carry, and as they come, I'm going to ask them more. I've started to explain what the mandate of the agency represents, so that all of you can have a common understanding. Yeah, again. Especially on issues that relates to us directly, again, and then you can then discuss those points when you are given a time to do that. Let's take the agency.
All right, thanks. Good morning, Chair, and thanks, morning, committee members. The name is Itumeleng Mohorosi. I'm from the Gauteng Growth and Development Agency.
Bona le tona ke batla ra o bue with a stentorian voice gore o nne le confidence a ro o bua le setšhaba ba o utlwe akere le lebitso la ba le utlwe gore o tiifatse tiisa gore o itise.
Thanks, Chair. We'll try. Dumelang bagaetsho. Leina ke Itumeleng Mohorosi ke tswa ko Gauteng Growth and Development Agency. Ke tla present on the performance at end Q3 ending December 2025. So, Chair, the results in question are such that, how do I go now? The committee had spoken at the last meeting and our
Bona ke
performance.
nyaka go tlhalosa setšhaba gore ke eng JIDA a re starte ka go tlhalosa gore ke eng ntwe JIDA
GGDA.
na re e bitsa JIDA ke tlhalosa gore ke eng so se.
Gauteng Growth and Development Agency is responsible for primarily two matters. One, facilitation of trade, meaning exports, and investment to the province. That's on one hand. On the other hand, we have a mandate for infrastructure development. And the slide before you indicates how we go about that. We have sector agencies, about 4 of them, and we'll go into what each is responsible for. The sectors of focus in terms of this before you would be the auto industry development. The Innovation Hub is responsible or focuses on 3 sectors, one being smart industries, the next being green economy, the other bioeconomy. And we do that through primarily the campus in Pretoria, but we do have satellites throughout, including here in Sedibeng, together with VUT. The third company that we have, we call the Gauteng Industrial Development Zone. It's based in Ekurhuleni, and it's responsible for largely mineral beneficiation. There's an aspect of agro-processing, and in the next phase that we are entering into, we'll be looking at pharmaceuticals, electronics, and those kind of sectors. Lastly, we have the Constitution Hill. This is the home of the Constitutional Court. The sectors that we are assisting therein include cultural heritage, creatives, and some aspect of tourism. So those would be the companies that are owned within the group of companies in the Gauteng Growth and Development Agency. We also have the holdings company, which oversees the subsidiary companies I just spoken to. And that is largely responsible for the trade, investment, and infrastructure development for the group. So that is who the GGDA is at a high level. And I was saying that the legislature did speak and we did listen and we have executed, hence our performance improved substantially from what it was in the second quarter, particularly when we look at the Innovation Hub. We were lacking there and we have substantially improved. So our performance has been summarized by the performance within other agencies collectively at 89%. There's only 2 areas where we did not do well, notwithstanding the trade center that is in the industrial development zone. And the reason for the non-achievement, notwithstanding the early weathers that we had to do with procurement of electrical matters that had to be acquired for installation of the electrical works as part of the bulk installation. This was partly achieved at 89%, so we're not far off. We had planned to achieve. Now, looking at the finances, or at least what the monies have been allocated, this has been spoken to in the last presentation. We were awarded, or no, appropriated, or authorized to spend 684 million. And in the quarter under review, the third quarter, we had planned to spend, and as was previously communicated, we slightly overspent by 7%, meaning that we spent 193, whereas we had planned to spend. From April towards end of December, we actually are spending, or have spent 484 million of the 684 million. So, and the rest will be spent, or is projected to be spent now in part of the fourth quarter. And the lagging item for expenditure, as you will notice, second last row there, it's on capital expenditure. I have mentioned that the electrical procurement in the industrial zone in Ekurhuleni, when it comes in together with what I will still speak to as it pertains to infrastructure, both at the Constitution Hill and here in the Val, in Lesedi, those expenses will be recognized now in the fourth quarter that we are to be. So effectively at the high level, we have spent 71% of our annual allocation by the end of December. So that is very much in line with the 75% threshold that we should have spent. So we are on track. This just a summary of the achieved matters that we have spoken to, and just to go into what we actually delivered. At the holdings level, there were two targets. We have attracted investments to the value of 18.5 billion, and the ones that we recognized in the fourth quarter includes the microbrewery that is in Ekurhuleni. There's the Growth Point Initiative, Mogale, Lanseria for the cargo terminal. RCL Food is in Randfontein, and we are familiar with that because they produce largely the food that we consume every day. Lastly, there was an investment by Motherson. It's supplying to Ford. It's also based at the Automotive Supplier Park in Roslyn. We have assisted 35 companies and exposed them to export markets. That target we have achieved. The Automotive Industry Development Center, on the other hand, does provide intervention in assisting companies, specifically those in the auto sector, to become globally competitive. We are on track with that target. We're also providing skills enhancement for those that are employed in the automotive industry, largely component manufacturers, companies that we have in our incubation program, but also the OEMs, original equipment manufacturers. So we are achieving and is ahead of that target. We're also training township-based SMMEs. We have achieved the target, including the generation of revenues by companies that we have in the township automotive hubs. There's two, one in Kagiso, the other one in Winterveld. We are ahead insofar as the revenue by companies that we have in incubation. We have two innovations, one in the Nissan plant, the other in the Ford plant. TIH, on the other hand, we do link solution seekers with those that can provide solutions, technology-based solutions that we encourage. And those we have the public sector and private sector would come to us and we would issue the request for intervention to the companies that we have in incubation. We also incubate, and in this case, we have graduated 12 companies. On the skills front, we have achieved the training in ICT skills from robotics and related industries. We do provide skills to young people there. The Gauteng Industrial Development Zone is on track insofar as planned preventative maintenance is concerned. We have overachieved on SMMEs that are benefiting from the operations of that industrial zone. The revenue from the rental largely is overachieved. And we're also having the interns that are employed to be part of the phase 2 bulk installation process. The Constitution, on the other hand, we do have a target of number of ticketed leisure visitors, and we have achieved that. And the creatives that benefit, I did make mention that the creative industry is part of the sectors that the entity is looking at. There's also the aspect of revenue enhancement that we have overachieved to date. And I think also the annual target has been made up so far. The two non-native targets I've spoken to, one had to do with the trade center, the other the bulk. So we'll forgo that. And as far as jobs are concerned, we can report that the investments that I have spoken to have generated 6,000, just above 6,000 jobs, but within the group we have recognized 7.3 thousand jobs. And we are able to disaggregate in terms of gender and age who benefited from these jobs. The training I spoke to, we can see the Innovation Hub contributed by and large, as well as the Auto Industry Development Center to the 1,000 jobs trainings that we have spoken to. Now, coming to Sedibeng, we do have two initiatives. One, members of the public will recall that the Premier did announce that we will have what is called special economic zone in each of the corridors. The one for this region or corridor we then refer to as the VAL special economic zone. To date, there's two areas within the district that we are pursuing. One is in Lesedi, we'll get into that. One is in Lesedi, and we can report that appointment for the contractor to install the bulk was made in December, and that bulk installation has commenced. The Lesedi community is involved, and there is a steering committee, including that community members and the councillors from that area. The second area is actually here in Mfuleni, and it's at the Reed Sprayed township. We having 6 lots that we are aiming to develop in Reed Sprayed. So far, the environmental impact assessment has been granted here in Mfuleni. What we are waiting for is the Department of Environment here in Gauteng to issue record on ROD, record on decision for the EIA to be granted. And from there, we will then be embarking on the design of the bulk. Then the bulk will then be installed, and this will be in 2 phases. You will note from this slide that we're hoping to develop 3 lots of reed sprayed. The phase 2 would then be the 4th to the 9th lots in that same place. The other looking at the other phases, Langlaagte in Lesedi. So we're busy now with where the bulk is being installed, but there is another site, Langlaagte, that we have identified. Then the other two sites are in Midvaal, and we'll get into the detail. But of importance, Chair, is just to say that there is traction insofar as the Val SEZ is concerned, insofar as the two initial sites are concerned with the commencement with the bulk installation. So this, the sizes of the land parcels that we are looking at. The site in Heidelberg, the one we're busy with now, is just 35 hectares. And we can see the red spread is just below 700 hectares, though divided into those lots that I have spoken to. We are hoping that by the end of the term, the two sites would then be operational, and there are efforts of how we can raise the required funding for both the bulk and the top structure that would then follow. Here are the companies that we are engaging with insofar as investing in the sites that I have spoken to. For the Lesedi, there's two companies that have committed. We just have to follow the investment facilitation process wherein commitment or firm commitments would be made, and that will be followed with the lease agreements before the top structures are installed. So we do have the list that we can share, and like I was saying, that it is a 5-year project that we are hoping for the community to see and witness the operations of the Val SEZs. Next, we have the Ekasi Lab in Sedibeng that I was mentioning, that we are working closely with VUT in this regard, and the idea is to empower entrepreneurs and to foster innovation. We currently are having 40 companies in that site, the VUT site, and I have mentioned what sectors those are. Some of the companies are here, and we would encourage or showcasing outside that they be supported. We are looking in the bio space, agro-processing, ICT, smart industries, green, and also advanced manufacturing. To date, we have trained at least 80 young people in the period in question, and the training entailed ideation or idea generation. We also hosted business boot camp. There's also the skills that I've spoken to relating to coding, robotics, and also aspect of youth life, as it were. We also have provision at the VUT for manufacturing and technology support, inclusive of the 3D printing, which is very important for those that have ideas to be able to develop prototypes or designs of or whatever innovative ideas they have. So the site is available, and there are 5 companies that so far in the period in question have accessed those, 3 of which were in the cosmetic space, the other 2 in agro-processing. So to popularize the offering of the VUT, a pop-up market was held at the Val Mall in December, now recently, and another one is scheduled to be hosted at the same site in the week of the Freedom Day. That will be it, Chair, from my end. And thanks again for the opportunity to share with the community what it is we do and what we use the public funds for. Thanks, Chair.
All right, thank you very much. Let's take the Gauteng Enterprise Propeller. Baga. Yeah, in the similar way we did the previous one, we start by just giving an overview of what the agency does. All right.
It's fine, yeah. Good morning to the Chair and the Portfolio Committee members, the colleagues and the community at large. I'm presenting the Gauteng Enterprise Propeller, which is the entity of the Gauteng Provincial Government tasked with a mandate of developing micro, small and medium enterprises in order to ensure that they don't only start, but they grow and become much more competitive. And we do so by providing both financial support, which is the loan funding support, as well as the non-financial support, which is the business development support. I will unpack as we go along. I will be presenting the quarter 3 report and of the 2025-26 financial year. We were tracking about 15 indicators, and we have achieved as the entity 13 of those indicators, meaning that we've missed 2 indicators, translating to 87% achievement. The only indicators that we didn't achieve as the entity was the percentage rate of loans dispersed. There are loans that we could not disperse on time because of the SMMEs that didn't meet their conditions, their approval conditions that were set before we can actually transfer the payments. And then the last one that we did not meet is the collection rate. We missed the target by 4%. And we are ensuring that we're trying to catch up in the coming quarters. And I must mention that I think we're struggling. SMMEs are not paying as they should. I know there are economic challenges, but also on the other side, there are challenges with some of the SMMEs who are not honoring their payment. Then in terms of the appropriation, as GEP, we didn't receive any additional budget. What has been reflected in the departments, the 3 million, it goes directly to where it's supposed to go, to TIH, which is for the systems that we are currently working on. This is a system that is enabling us to be much more efficient in our application process, and we are currently working on that system with TIH. As we speak, SMMEs are currently able to apply to GEP online without going to any GEP offices. They are able to access the services of GEP online. In terms of our financial performance, in terms of the quarter, we have our expenditure was at 100%, and for the year to date it was at 67%. Then in terms of the actual work that GEP has done within this region, especially with the supporting SMMEs in the townships aligning to our Township Economic Development Act, we've provided SMMEs in these regions with those who wanted with financial support in terms of those who, if you want to start a business, we are able to apply to GEP to support you with a loan funding support. If you have a viable franchise that you want to access, we are able to go to GEP for such support. If you have received an opportunity through a tender or any other means, and therefore you have shortage of cash flow in order for you to service that particular purchase order, we have a short-term financing facility at GEP where we are able to finance you to be able to execute that particular purchase order. If you want to buy a commercial property as well, we are able to support you. And then in terms of our loan funding support, we can support you up to 5 million rand. And the interest that you will pay, it is at prime, and the payment period is up to a 36 months period. For a contract finance, because it is short, it is a contract that you need to pay us within the period of 12 months. Then the second part of our instrument, we've got non-financial support, where we provide you with the business development support that will assist you to start your business assist you to build your business, assist you to grow your business through a series of interventions that we are providing as the Gauteng Enterprise Propeller. We take you from planning to putting systems in your business, to raising capital until you are able to run a sustainable business. Then in terms of the overall, for this region, in terms of this quarter, there is one SMME that was supported with loan funding support, but in terms of the business development support, that includes the actual building systems in your business, providing with marketing tools, quality systems, financial management systems, as well as the grant support for accessing, for procuring equipment support, and also for informal traders, for procuring stock. For this region, we've actually assisted 300 SMMEs to the value of 6.2 million. Then the SMMEs that was provided with loan funding support to the value of $1 million is located in Meyatin. In terms of the grants support for equipment, we've supported 67 township-based SMMEs to the value of 2.2 million. You can see Boipatong, it's 8 SMMEs are represented. Boitumele, Bopelong, Everton, another 8. And Bopelong, another 8, and the other highest is Lakeside, there's Jameson Park, there's Golden Gardens, there's Meyatin. So I think we've cut across various townships. There's another highest is Ratanda at 8 SMMEs, and the highest is the Sedibeng, which we supported 16 SMMEs with a grant funding support for equipment. Then the other one where we supported SMMEs with a business development support, which means which is the systems that builds your business to be sustainable, because it's not only money that helps your business to grow. We've supported SMMEs in this region to the value of 2.9 million, covering 178 townships. I think the most township that covered is Bopelong, there's Everton, at 20 there is Ratanda, at 30 there's also Sedibeng, there's Sharpeville, is also coming through, and Lakeside again is also coming through. Then in terms of the informal businesses that we supported, our informal traders, we've supported them, 55 of the township-based one, to the value of 268,000 rand, covering all those townships that we have listed there. Then also just to also share some of the success stories of the work that we have done as the Gauteng Enterprise Propeller. We've got, there's also some of the SMMEs that are exhibiting and showcasing outside. There we've got the Powerhouse Media projects. We've provided, they came to us because they were faced with challenges such as they didn't have adequate equipment to be able to run their business efficiently as they were getting the work outside. They needed to look at their quality systems, and they came to GEP for support. They were assisted through the relief fund that was there. They were provided through our BDS support, and the results of that, they were able to grow their business, and as such, they had to move to a formal rental space in an industrial park within the Sedibeng. And what we've seen from that business, they got more contracts with other customers like the Cedars, which increased their income, and also that resulted in them employing 4 people from the area. Then the second success story as well is Lamong in Meyatin as well. GEP assisted them as they had challenges in terms of having proper financial management systems, and GEP provided that, and also GEP purchased an equipment for the particular business, and they received the training and also even the laptop to be able to run their finance system. The business has grown, and it has managed to employ 5 additional people. Then the third one is Ebola Technologies. as well, which was a business in the safety and security industry. And then the business was also had challenges. They didn't have proper equipment. They didn't have proper control systems. Their marketing was inadequate as they didn't have proper marketing tools, and their safety standards were compromised, and also they were assisted by GEP by providing all those required systems. And the business has actually grown, successfully gotten bigger contracts for security installations through the marketing exposure the support that they receive from GEP. And they expanded their employees from 16 to current 40 permanent employees and 320 casual workers. The last one is Halang Trading Enterprise. As well, the business has operated operational challenges. Marketing is always a major challenge for most of the small businesses. And GEP assisted them to providing a direction and also the marketing tools, and also GEP assisted them with the implementation of quality management systems. The business also grew and their turnover increased. And as well, because they were able now to be visible as a guest house, and they got more customers, and the business started to increase their employment. They increased from 3 employees to 14 permanent employees. This is just showing the outcome of the work that GEP is doing. And also, in terms of creating awareness, besides being available to attend physical events, the GEP also, we are also leveraging on the online platforms. We host online webinars where we create awareness, and also we also collaborate with other DFIs to ensure that we create much more greater exposure for GEP work. And we also ensured that in our system, we've also created a complaints email address where if you've got an issue with GEP, you can go to our online and be able to reach us and let us know how you feel about GEP as an SMME, and we will respond to you within 7 days on the matter that needs to be resolved. Thank you, Chair. I will end there.
All right, thank you very much for the presentation. Like it. Thank you. At the back of this wall, there's a number of tables. Can you see them? Those stalls. Those are your information stalls. So if there's any one of you who wants information, you can just arise when you find time, go there without making any noise. Inquire about whatever program you want to inquire about. That relates to all of these presentations. But what you will also find is that some of the businesses which were supported, or the owners of the businesses that were supported, but they in our midst again. And we have done that so that you can network, share perspectives, gain more insights, but also be guided if your interest is in business development or any other related. So, Robert will encourage, or we should do that. But we would still have time even after all the reports are taken. But I hope we have been following up on all of these presentations. I want to go to the Tourism Authority. Are they here? Yeah, let's take the Tourism Authority. Valley is a vast area which brands a number of tourist opportunities. Abona la ba lona Val ali itse bila, right? Ke ma itse Val Marina. Kwena fela o itse ulwana. La itse Val Marina. La itse ne. Ngile la bona re desega. Abe Val Marina can be like Sea Point. or it could be like Cape Town, if properly developed. Again. So we want the initiatives. Hona le plek e nngwe ba re ke nice na. I differ le Valmarine. Not at all. So we want you to explore some of these opportunities. I the report from the tourism agency.
Morning, Chair. Morning, members. Morning, colleagues, communities, and everybody. My name is Mboikona. I work for Gauteng Tourism Authority. I'm going to take you through some of the key highlights that we have done within the region and also what Gauteng Tourism Authority stands for. The presentation has got this table of contents. I'm going to start with the performance information, the projects that are also implemented in here in Sedibeng in particular, and roughly the financial considerations. Gauteng Tourism Authority is designed and mainstreamed basically according to the following. You will see that the first one is around strategic support.
Bonandade, if I overview your tourism agency again, before Zanamote.
Yes. And Gauteng Tourism Authority will deal with the promotion of the Gauteng destination, the marketing side of things, ensuring then that it is the place to come to dine, to spend, and also to stay. And also at the same time, we also then deal with the sustainable tourism development. That is around and making it a point then that everything that is within the Gauteng space is developed sustainable, and also ensuring then that you don't meet any hazards and Gauteng remains the safe place to be. The hotels, the accommodation facilities, the areas that you go to and spend, and ensuring then that there's a number of areas and facilities that encourage economic development broadly. And the entity Gauteng Tourism Authority then is structured as follows. Then amongst others, then there is the area that focuses on the marketing as indicated. Another one that ensures then that Gauteng remains a place for business, tourism, for events, whether large or small in townships and wherever. Amongst others, you will remember the international one that we held last. Move around and stay in Gauteng. We ensure then that Gauteng is a sustainable place to be. Amongst others, we reduce energy. Here is our performance overview. Fortunately, Chair, we're able to achieve all our targets. And we're one of the entities that have contributed to the percentage that the province, that DED indicated on. And we have also made inroads also even on the annual targets that were planned. And you will see then on the slide that is in here, the one that talks then about the ensuring then that we consider previously disadvantaged groupings. We have also managed then to make positive dents in there. Again, on the hosting and the bidding, which is around the events. And in particular, this one, it was focusing on the events that are hosted in townships, and also we're able then to achieve that. And the last one in here on the slide, Chair and members, it focuses then, amongst others, one, on ensuring then that we understand that government purse is limited, and therefore, amongst others, then we must go out there and make partnerships to leverage and also ensure then that the bigger picture is met. And also, even on that one, it has been achieved. And we are also hopeful then that the target that we were given, based on the partnerships that we have, Chair, we are going to exceed the planned target. The actual projects then that were implemented in Sedibeng, we stand in here in front of you, Chair and members and communities, to indicate that within Sedibeng, we can proudly indicate that 50 SMMEs were taken out for market access. And the table that is in here in front of us, it breaks that down. Amongst others, we have taken them to the Cape Town Convention Center, your tourism Indaba, the Sedibeng Food Festival, the Senam Mandela Day Health and Awareness, the Valr Pride by the river, that was held in here in Van der Bijl Park, and also the All-White Soul Session that was also held here in Van der Bijl, annual Women's Healing Event, and Music and Lifestyle Expo. We are, earlier on, Chair, when you indicated that some of the beneficiaries might be here, and I'm hopeful that they are here, they will be able to stand up and agree to what we're talking about. And also on the next slide, Chair, we are also standing up again, Chair, to indicate that on skills development, we've trained 24 SMMEs on the Garankuwa Hotel School brought a project whereby Garankuwa Hotel School is training out there to all the regions. We've done that. Garankuwa Hotel School, Chair, came in and trained in here within this region. We also trained SMMEs on product development, and also recently we've done the training of professional conference organizers. On tourism safety, Chair, we are also proudly indicating that 100 safety wardens from the Department of Community Safety within the broader area of Sedibeng were trained, and the idea in particular is to focus on the tourism hotspots, to ensure then that we reduce then the incidences, and they work closely with the Department of Community Safety and Police. Those are born and bred in here within Sedibeng. And 30 safety wardens were also deployed then at the Val Pride by the river as part of the initiatives that we have done with the Department of Community Safety. On the financial performance, Chair, GTA got an annual budget of 100 million, and it was readjusted to 107, as indicated earlier on. And on expenditure to date, we are at 78% by the end of Q3. Thanks a lot, Chair.
All right, thank you very much. Liutlu ilager. It's a tourism, it's by Lord, you are in that industry. I hope you have noted and that you will be asking questions later. Let's take the final report. The Gauteng Gambling Board. You are into gambling or want to be in the gambling space, so that you also track what has been happening and some of the initiatives there. Again, only they are in gambling or are interested. Interested in gambling. Okay. Maragiri, you need to formalize yourselves. You must have a formal entities. I can say, dice or copy dice. I formalize them. Yeah. So let's take the report on gambling. But overview.
All right. Thanks, Chair. Thanks, members. And then also to the community at large of Sedibeng. My name is Kim Mushapo. I'm with a contingent of my colleagues that will be able to even further share, as the Chair has indicated, to say that we have an information desk that is outside for any clarity that you might seek in the middle of this presentation, or after, you'll be able to engage with us. I am from the Gauteng Gambling Board. We, as the Gauteng Gambling Board, we are an entity of the Department of Economic Development, and we report through it to the MEC, who is MEC Lebo Maile, and also we report to the Portfolio Committee as it is seated here. We are established through an act of legislature, and in essence, to simplify it, we have been established to regulate the gambling. We are in charge of issuing licenses and also making sure that we derive revenue towards the fiscus through taxes and levies for operating a licensed casino in the province. As you see the strategic objective flighted there, it will also indicate to you our legal framework, which act established us, but however, the critical and the gist of the matter is you must know that we do regulate gambling. In us regulating this gambling industry, we need to understand what is gambling. Gambling is when you put something of value that is determined on the outcome of a game, that you put your bet, and then we call it gambling. However, you must note that there is what we call legal gambling and illegal gambling. For all that we do, we know that there is emerald in this region. They go to the casino and play. That's a legal outlet. We have issued a license to Emerald to be able to can operate that. We've got several of the gambling outlets. But however, I want to caution as we start this topic to say there is what we call illegal gambling. Illegal gambling include madais. Illegal gambling include dikarata tse re dlalang ka mo gae. Illegal gambling include poppy dice. Illegal gambling include the internet cafe. Tsone ba re ropang ba re botsa gore ka mola o kgona ho dlala. For as long as they don't have a certificate which shows that they've been legalized, it is illegal gambling. And in true sense, that illegal gambling and its increase, it is hitting hard on the revenue that we are expected to create. Of all the revenue that we collect, we give it to the provincial treasury, we give it to the fiscus to be able to can implement other socio-economic imperatives that are aligned with the provincial priorities. In summary, that's what we do as Gauteng Gambling Board. I will talk to our performance as per the mandate of this sitting. As the Gauteng Gambling Board, we've got 23 targets for the year. In all those 23 targets, in the past quarter, which is quarter 3, October, November, December, we had 8 targets. We managed to achieve 7. We failed to achieve 1 target, which is a critical target, and which I know members will also be able to say, for how long will we miss this target? It is a target on making sure that we close or we raid illegal gambling outlets. Hence the percentage. We have achieved 7, we failed to achieve 1, we are at 90%. For the other programs, there is a target.
Sorry, ke kopa hore baholo a ke re kupile mole re le kupile hore a re utlweleng di report a ke re la le ya go morao go re kopa hore le ska etsa modumi because le disturb batho ba bang ba ba nang le kgatlhego. of this report. A re batle gore ha re fetsa ho tsamaya mo e be le lela gore government ha e re thuse, ha batle le ko rona, when we have created that opportunity. So please pay attention to these reports. They affect you and your lives. Ha re tswelle pele.
Thanks, Chair. For the critical target, that is of payment of suppliers within a turnaround of 15 days, we managed to achieve 100% as stipulated within the APP. Procurement towards women, youth, and people with disability. This we call it DOD. The target has already been achieved, but however it reports in Q4. Indication based on our expenditure shows that the first target of our procurement will go to women. It will go to youth-owned businesses, and it will go to people with disability. We have also did a stakeholder engagement session that we did in that quarter. In that quarter, what we did, we made sure that we've got all the license holders to be able to engage and discuss with them the regulations which guide how much tax they need to pay. Because we need to increase our revenue. As FISO presentation, one of the critical roles is revenue enhancement to the fiscus. With regard to applying for a license, when you apply for a license, you must give us a minimum or a maximum of 120 working days. For all the licenses that we have received, the applications, we managed to achieve all of them, and they are done within the 120 days. We've got all the employees that are working in the gambling outlets, they need to be registered by us. So we facilitate that process, but also it has a registration fee. It creates a revenue for us to be able to give to the fiscus. So we have achieved that. In the last financial year, we recorded 1.405 employees that have been employed within the gambling industry through our interventions. The non-compliance, there are non-compliance. There are some outlets that are doing non-compliance. We also deal with them within 70 working days and make sure that the turnaround time is adhered to. We also look at the gambling disputes. There are some of you who are engaged in gambling activities. You'll find that you feel that they didn't give me the money that is due to me. We are there as your recourse. Unlike when you play at illegal gambling outlets, you don't have a recourse. Noxman agasu fechelda, and Elenangasten, because as is school saka. School saka kise license. Another problem could be all these online platforms that are availed to you, but you don't know whether they have been legalized. And as such, by God's luck, you win. Barki UK law too, you go London. And then you want your money. But that platform is not registered by us. We'll be unable to be able to assist you to retrieve your money. But if you bet on a licensed platforms, we'll be able to can get in and becomes your Knoxman and will resolve the issue. There is a revenue enhancement that we report to in Q4. Process is on course. We are gearing to look at the target, and we hopefully will reach or will slightly overcome it or slightly not get it. But based on the current processes, we are busy doing with that. On the percentage of existing licensees imposed with transformational agenda, our target is 42, it reports in Q4, and we'll be able to give the portfolio committee a progress with regard to that. The creation of a development fund, the number of jobs created will be able to report in Q4, and portfolio committee, you'll also be able to know, and it will also be published in our annual report with regard to how many jobs have we created. On the rates, as I indicated in my first slide, we managed only 68 rates against a target of 125. We are trying to have mitigating factors to increase for this quarter so that we could at least achieve the annual target. But however, it should be noted, but also through you, the portfolio committee, to say it is a kind of a high hill to climb. And then the exploration of partnering with the Gauteng Liquor Board with regard to making sure that as the Premier has declared the Amapanyaza to be peace officers, the same should happen to our law enforcement officers and the liquor investigators. So we hope to further that collaboration, and then as such it will avail necessary resources to cap illegal gambling. On the campaigns, even if we regulate gambling, we need to make sure that we preach the message of responsible gambling. I don't know how many of you who are involved in gambling knows the tagline, winners know when to stop. That's a tagline that emphasizes responsible gambling. So as such, it is within our act to make sure that we preach responsible gambling. We are not saying don't gamble, but we're saying if you gamble responsibly. So we have campaigns that we have done, and in the last quarter, as per the reporting, we have achieved 8 campaigns, including the elderly campaigns, including the taxi hubs, including the TV campaigns to preach the responsible gambling. I've talked about the eradication of illegal gambling. Let me focus now on what we have done through our CSI, or socio-economic development intervention in this region. With regard to our licensed outlets in the region of Sedibeng, we've got Emerald Casino, which is one of the casinos that we are regulating. We also have 7 bookmakers. Of the 7, 4 are operational. 1 is in Vanderbijl Park. The other one is in Vereeniging, Everton, and here in Sedibeng. Here we're talking about your Hollywood outlets. Here we're talking about your top bet or sports bet that are legalized by us. We also have the taps. We call them totalizators. They are in Vanderbijl Park, Vereeniging, Everton, Sedibeng. We also have 2 bingos, which is a mini casino, if you can explain it. It's in Vereeniging and it's in Vanderbijl Park. Of the limited payout machines, we can boldly say in Sedibeng, you've got 18 of them. The limited payout machines is those machines that you find in a pub or a restaurant and pub. Their top winning is almost 500 rands. So it's just for entertainment. They get to be legalized or licensed through us. So in and around the township, we do have those. We have done outreach. I spoke about responsible gambling. In this region, we went to Sicelo, and during the service delivery outreach in January this year, we were there. Hence I said our table is also outside to also preach responsible gambling. We went to Emerald, we went to Gold Rush, we also went to Masheke High School last year. We also participated in the premier service delivery at Salt Stadium on the 4th of June. We also did a campaign that goes directly to those low payment responsible gambling campaign at Sedibeng Tap. Of the CSI that we have done or related to our sports development fund, we supported the Combi Court, which is a multi-purpose sports center, and a swimming pool for learners living with disability. That was at Isizwe, Sichaba Special School. That is in Roodstein, here in Vereeniging. We also supported the refurbishment of a soccer academy called Remembering Elite Sports Academy, situated at 21 Botha Street, here in Vereeniging. Those are the interventions that we have done. Of the finance, let's take it as the department looked at or presented the financial. So we do have the revenue that we have created. We do have revenue indicated this way. We've got casino fees, we've got the bingo fees that we charged, we've got the route operators, and we also have manufacturers, totalizers and bookmakers. Quite interestingly, when I talk these terms, one says to himself and say, what is the level of interest from communities to be manufacturers of those machines? What is the interest of youth to be able to say, what is it that I could be able to do to enter into this gambling sector? Hence, there is a plan from our side to make sure that we establish a development fund so that we access or we facilitate access into the gambling sector through interventions towards youth, women, and people with disability. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Methele mazolo mutu lo passionate bjang. Le tona la rona ba. A be ke ho tla o itlhalosa ka passion ntweng. Mara le mutu ila ke rona na tsene mo ntweng e illegal. Or space se illegal sa bo madaense a se space sa. O spana ka lo zelo re di na le license fela ke. All right, thank you very much. Ke kupile department report ya liquor board. I want us to give an overview. That is just an overview. Support programs, regulations, bottlenecks, on licensing. There could be issues around turnaround times, proximity to certain social infrastructure like schools, churches, all of those things. Just the compliance-related issues. On a lot of businesses some bombi. Let the young some bombo lost. All right.
She's from GMP.
Yeah.
She's very conversant with the issues.
Okay. Nice job. Just the highlights. We'll give you, I think 5 minutes should be enough.
Can I start, Chair?
Yeah, sure.
Dumelang bagolo. Special greetings to our chair and the committee members. I also saw a number of management from the department. Greetings to you all, but special greetings to our VVVIPs, the Sedibeng community. Libito la ka ke Tlio Budibe Lushaba, ke tlo bua ka Gauteng Liquor Board. As chair is saying, he's giving me 5 minutes, but ke tla bua ka ntho tse leng hore ke nana hore re hloka hore re di utlwe. I'm trying to adjust my Sotho. I'm hoping everyone can hear that. Rona he really Gauteng Liquor Board, we call ourselves regulators tsa the liquor industry. So hantle a re tshwane le bo SAB le bo Heineken, we don't manufacture but we regulate. What does that mean? It means how rekisa jwala or ona le interest yo kuthi ufuna ukuthengisa ujwala. Unlike amazambane namatamati, our value stock ume khoneni uthengise, you need what we call a liquor license. That's who we are. You would come to us and apply for a liquor license. Ama licenses ethu ke ayahluka, rena le di tavern, rena le di pub, rena le di shebins and so on. My advice is that before you even apply for a liquor license, tseba pele hore o batla o rekisetsa bo mang, target market ya hao ke eng, so that o apply le liquor license e appropriate. Inkinga esibanazo kanengi ukuthi umuntu apply le I tavern sakafuna ukuthengisa ama takeaway and so on. So those are the main things that I want to touch on. I also want to verify one or two things that we're currently going through as Gauteng Liquor Board. We have had to move, ba bang ba lona re ntse ba re le ko 124 Main Street, we have had to move from 124, re ko Germiston right now. So how nida ho renew? I get just like koloi, I get ma une moto, we renew it disc lakho every year. Every 12 months, how na le license, tshwantse we renew. So at the moment, at least at ko 124, let ko Germiston to be able to renew your liquor license. I think in a nutshell, I'll stop there. But Chair, in the last 6 months, Sedibeng reissued 7 liquor licenses. And those were mainly the taverns and 1 hotel. So that's something that I thought we would highlight. And another thing important, from time to time, we conduct the workshop to educate our liquor traders who are asithengiseli abantwana aba under 18. We adhere to the liquor trading hours. Some of you, because nearly festive, you'd be trading 24/7 and so on. Ntotse o adia dumelwa, a ke re ra tseba kaofela hore alcohol is potentially harmful. So awa tshwanela o inwe on an empty stomach, and you can't have the patrons tsa hao di le ko tavern throughout the time. Ntho engwe ke kopang hore ke mention via you, Chair, in the limited time that you've given to us, is that how nali, if you happen to know of a tavern that is not complying, whether they are selling to minors, they are trading beyond trading hours, or any kind of problem, you are able to report them anonymously. Akere ba bang ba lona le a tshaba ho ipua hore le bo mang, which is okay. So I'll just quickly share the number. I'll mention it just twice. Otherwise, ke teng le team ya ka outside. After everything else, you can come and talk to us. The number where you report an illegal outlet or by trader illegally, the number is 079 527 6432. 079 527 6432. Ke tlo kopa hore ke emise mo, that number o romela SMS, o romela WhatsApp, o mention a problem ya hao or question ya hao o na leng yona around liquor trading. Ke a hana, Chair, maybe I should stop at this point. Let me thank you for the time and the opportunity. Ke a leboga Sedibengas. Thank you.
Re lebohile mme Mantlio. Bafe ke kopa re le na le number ya batho ba ile hore ba batlo etsa di-inquiry on license applications. How do they get information? Is there where we can refer them?
Yes, that is the same number that you use, but ke kopa o mention hore even via our website, we are go Department of Economic Development, both liquor under the Gauteng Liquor Board, you'll get all the other information that you require. But the number that you have, we will be able to assist you with anything and everything. If not, maybe refer you to a respective unit. Thank you, Chair.
Are methele matso. Re lebohile Osclio. All right. So, Bagaitsu, those are all the reports. Those are all the reports. There's a number of issues that were surfaced in the reports. Mare ke batlo bua ka ntho nngwe before ke fa maloko mo. Go na le report nngwe presentile ba re Gauteng Enterprise Propeller ke le utlwile. It's a funding agency. E thusana le setšhaba. Le batho ba ile hore ba na le dikgwebo hore ba batlo tsena mo dikgwebong. Akere. Mara se ona ile one. Ko ra ke batlo hore ha o ile kwa o bo le hore ha o kry thuso, o bo ngala hore government ha e re thuse. Akere. Ho na le bo SIFA at national, akere. Small Enterprise Financing Agents. E bo nna le bo SEDA, Small Enterprise Development Agents. Ba ile hore le mo dikgwebong tse ke mona le bo National Empowerment Fund. Ba ile hore le mo dilong tsa di-technology, kana ho na le innovation, technology, something, innovation agency, something like that. It's also there, I get it. Ho na le bo di-land redistribution for agricultural development. Those agencies, those who are in media communication spaces, MDDA, I get it. They can also facilitate interventions. For you, Bacha, NYDA, I get it. In the office everywhere. So there's a number of agencies And all of these agencies, they center around the DTIC. I get like the department, they were trade, industry, and competition. Like again. Like Marong Harali Shogan. Ali yeah, is a Department of Trade, Industry, and Competition. All of these agencies, they were under on again. So, ke wa tlo lo rotloetsa hore a le kreile nako mo di founung tsa lona fela la check right e re ke no type fela mo Google DTIC again and it tlo le tlhaile sa tsona dilo tse hore mare a ke batla thuso nka e kra ko kae. There's a number of agencies. I've just mentioned but a few. So I thought let's start there, but I just want to quickly check with members whether there's any 1 or 2 points that you might want to represent. Again, if they are not there, then it's okay. Yeah. Okay, let me take you quickly.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair, and thank you very much for the presentations. It's just one, Chair. I think we must give our community more opportunity because we engage with the department more often. So most of the time we must be given to the community. But just one item directed to the gambling board, as the presenter was saying, we are always worried about the enforcement and the performance against that target. So one of the challenges that the gambling board always raises is that SAPS, South African Police Service, are not always available to help them to crack down on illegal gambling. As we all know, South African Police Service in Al-Matatayo, Kibale go Madanga Commission, Baswere Matata mo. But we cannot be held back by SAPS because gambling board, they are correct to say, Habakra revenue, they then direct that revenue towards service delivery in the province. Now, if we are unable to enforce the law because we are hamstrung by SAPS, then we are going to continue losing that revenue, meaning that we can't then send money to go and develop our communities because we are failing to do what we rely on from SAPS. We want to propose to Gambling Board to consider appointing the peace officers, or I don't know how we can work, Chair, with Amapanyaza, because now they are peace officers as well. Bring them into this space, sign enforcement, their Gambling Board licenses, and get them to be able to help us to recoup the money that we lose because of illegal gambling. We want to put it on their table as one of the proposals to say, please find a way of not being too reliable or reliant on SAPS. Let's have our own enforcement agency or some kind of working relationship with Amapanyaza so that we can be able to get this done. That was the only point, Chair, I wanted to raise. Thank you very much.
Dumelang bagolo. Le kae? Ra leboga. Can I first start by acknowledging that holo e tletse and there's interest in this part of Gauteng to improve your lives. Ke kopa le ichapeleng matsoho. Ibile nna ke fitlhe 9:30 ka iblomela koloing ka re ke a tseba hore African time itlo etsa and batho ba tlo kena slowly ka bo ma 10:30. So I was pleasantly surprised. Ba mfounela ba re ausi itswa koloing batho ba fitlhile ra qala even earlier than the 10 o'clock that we said we would start. I think it's something ke batla go highlight. I want to commend this community for that. I think let us continue to show the rest of Gauteng hore nako ra itshwara lo re passion ya economic development rena le yona. I think that's something beautiful. Nna ya ka ke tshwana le abuti mona ke ka se bua haholo because re dula le bona ra sekisana mo le department, but what I want to say is that 75% of the budget, Abutu Uchilore, 75% of the budget, ya bona as a department, to implementing agents. Implementing agents, era horeng bagolo, era hore, department has partners that work in the communities. So, harere ayanda ki implementing agent, department inalom fa chelete, ki bele budget, irikonna siya tuma, iyakos booking. Ulo bereka le dispatcher shop tsa ko Sebokeng and empower them. Oba assiste ka di skills, oba assiste ka gross, oba assiste ka all those things. Obo tholor ayanda tsamaya alo reka Brazilian, areke Ferrari. Wa understand that chelete ebisa fitli where it's supposed to go. So when we look at all these slides, the beautiful numbers, the statistics, all the interventions, I just want to say to the department, ke kopa ifitle bathong. Isa fella just the pampiring as the numbers or ifelle the implementing agent. MEC wa rona wa economic development ntate Lebogang Maile o itse o tlo etsa investigation. O investigator enge or bomang tsona di implementing agencies tse nkileng di tšhelete tsa batho and they've not done the work ba di jele ba reka whatever it is that they buy. So we are waiting for that report. We said that investigation report will come soon and we are hoping hore ha fitla will be able to share it with you because di tšhelete tse ngata tsa government ha di fihle bathong. So I just want to encourage the department to say re kgopela that report, re kgopela that investigation. Ba jeleng di tšhelete tsa batho that were not supposed to, re kopa di tšhelete back to come to the communities. That is my only appeal. Otherwise, re leboga di intervention, re leboga di support that you are giving to communities, re kopa batho ba di feel on the ground and not just on the screens or paper. Ra leboga bagolo. Thank you.
Okay. Member Evans, quickly.
Thank you very much, Chair. I think Member Ali spoke on a few things that I wanted to say, but I'm going to say it anyway because I'm not certain whether she said what I have in mind. To all our entities, officials must know that our people out there are suffering, especially those with small businesses, your SMMEs. They can manufacture and they can do what they need to do, but they don't get onto the market. We have got our small businesses that manufactures oil. I know there's people manufacturing oil here, toilet paper, chemicals. These people battle, and that's just a small number amongst what our people can really do out there. They battle with finances, they battle with startups, they battle to get onto the markets. They can do these things very beautifully. They have all the certificates, all the paperwork that is needed, but they don't get onto the market to be able to feed their families. Another thing that the department also oversees is our people with disabilities. Our people with disabilities can also think for themselves. They also have businesses, but the department never reaches their target that they say they will reach within specific quarters when it comes to people with disabilities. And it's like the entities are not working with each other to find out how, when, where, what have you done to contact people with disabilities. So please, please, please look after our people. You guys are there to serve our people. Let us just do that. Let us do that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Mme Abrams.
Kialibua, Chair. Good afternoon. Goeiemiddag. Sanbonani. I think that the department would know the passion and the love that I have towards the TASES programs. And I always emphasize that when we go to certain communities, we must not make reference all the time about the Tshwane Automotive program that there currently is. We must come to the community and give them resolutions. Because remember now, we need to advise the community here in the Sedibeng municipality what it is that we are bringing to them. There was also mentioned on the pop-up shop that there was in December. If we can recall, the communication was very vague and there wasn't prompt communication that was done. We need to ensure that our communities are well informed and also that our communication is very transparent on that. We really appreciate what the department is doing. But as we can see, the Vereniging Sedibeng municipality is a very big community. We've got young entrepreneurs, and we need to start investing more and making it more lucrative for them to see the benefit of reaching out to the department. Thank you, Chair.
All right, thank you very much. Le ba utlwile ke re maloko a committee, I must also challenge them. The budget of the Department of Economic Development is nothing compared to the needs of our communities in respect of business initiation, development, continued support across the board.
Africa, that there are no employment, and people are not employed. Why don't the department hire people to do that job so that they can be monitored from the Office of the Economic Development from that department? So it rather give the people the job rather than giving that they must do just get the money and disappear. And then we're tired of these investigations every day, investigating as to whether who is who. You will find that that particular somebody is not here. Don't know if the due diligence is done on those people that have been given those opportunities. And that's my first point. The second one, which I've got very few, the second permit holders, they're not comfortable, so we need more answers and engagement in that matter. The last one, I can see that you are looking at me, Chair. The last one is that during the previous NCOP at Emerald, I think 4 years back, we recommended that we want a one-stop shop. If the government is very serious about business activities, empowering our business people as economic development, I know that your GEP, your CEDA, all of them, they must be under one building.
Right.
So that when I go, I know that I go there and then I got the assistant for everything.
Bongane, Navcog. Le na lo kopana le department ntate Bongane. Le na lo kopana le department.
To be a departmental, I'm talking on directly. Those with the department are with the department.
Let's take number 2.
And you also invited us to be here. You must give us enough time. Let's agree.
There was no imposition.
All right. Thanks.
Because I asked based on the number, it was per agreement. Yeah, so I read more temper point. Sure.
Why I'm saying I'm worried is because when I self feel na go let him go as much as you can. But it's fine. I'm worried, Chair. Issue ya tourism. There's a miscommunication between you and our municipality. The question is, our tourism, when they come in the Val, where do they visit? But because Valley na lidi pothole. Now, we don't have streets, go Val. I think ililuna litla moala flyer litlega di koloi. Now, the very same municipality, in that manner, it shows that the tourism department at Mfulen is not working, is not existing. I'm very worried about your achievements on the side of tourism. Get like the SMMEs. Valley, there's no anything that is existing when it comes to the SMMEs. I saw the list. Tabo, Savannah, and all these places. Obviously, you are in the legislator system, you know these places. But where are the achievements into our young people in Sedibeng, in business, especially in construction, and some other things that you spoke about as our achievements? We don't have community halls where we can do, our young people are doing art. I'm really worried about this report. I'm sure it's online, we can access it. We need to hold your office accountable on this report. Thank you.
All right, let's take number 3. Let's take number 3.
Sanibonani. Igama uSphiwe ngiphuma eWard 26 Everton West. I'm going to withdraw some certain questions, but I'm going to just take 2. Sphiwe Hlalele from Ward 26. The first one will be, I've heard that you are talking about to say gambling has failed to get those illegal gamblers. My concern is based on, what are the bylaws for? Because one, people are running tuck shops, while we know we've got people who are running those tuck shops without any papers. And our bylaws is like they are working only on us as South Africans, not to other people. You'll find out to say when I want to open a business, you're gonna give me a checklist. But when you go to our locations, you find people who are not following the same checklist that is given to me. So I would like to ask to say, let the department try to show us to say, whatever that they've shown us in the report, is it what is done in the location? Because when you are looking to open a business, you are asking for a lot of documents. The one that we are 100% sure that people who are owning the same business that I want to run, they don't have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mtate Sphiwe, for saving us a time. Can we take number 4?
Dumela. Lebitso la ka ke Sentle. I come from Sedibeng Advice Legal Center. The questions that I have are mostly related to the economic, economic development portfolio, as well as to the liquor board. The question I'd like to ask firstly is that we have come to notice that the Liquor Act, as well as municipal bylaws, are actually in conflict with one another. For example, the Liquor Act may say a particular thing and say, this is the burden that we want you to have, and so forth and so on. And some people may get disqualified from that. However, the bylaw agrees to the fact that that person can get the Liquor Act. So we would like them to actually justify and actually correct that, or figure out how they would like to do that. Secondly, with regards to the Shebeen permits as well, as Ntate Bongani has expressed, we would like to know what is the liquor board actually doing about that? Because, for example, as I'm saying, the city of Johannesburg agrees to people to have Shebeen permits, yet at the same time, the Liquor Act itself does not agree to Shebeen permits. So we would like them to answer that as well. Thirdly, we would like to know, why is it that Exxon has been given specific treatment compared to other regional areas within Gauteng in terms of trading liquor? Thirdly, we'd like to have fourthly, actually, we'd like to have a meeting with the Gauteng Liquor so that we can actually discuss all of these issues in more detail. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that. So, just try to formalize it so that it's on record. Unless but you can engage. I think even outside of the meeting, we can still engage. Number 5.
Good day, everyone. My name is Piwe. I run a small company called Pro Bull Holdings. I'm in the infrastructure development sector as well as the last mile e-commerce delivery space. So now I have a problem with the department, specifically the GEP. This kind of reactive approach rather than a proactive approach to things. You know, we go through all these kind of steps of applying for funding and support and everything. And then it takes a while and effort for you to go there and then engage. And then once you're in the middle of those conversations and you try to secure maybe let's say funding, then ultimately you don't get support. My problem is there's no follow-up in terms of what the approach that they're giving. I came to the GEP with a solution. If you can look into the last mile space, I think everyone here knows about Uber Eats and Take a Lot. We order food, and then the delivery space in it, you find that almost everyone who's delivering food is a foreigner. Now, you come up with ideas, 2019, you come up with ideas to say, guys, we need to formalize this kind of industry and make sure that we make it so formal that it doesn't break through or open up for gaps to foreign nationals. Now, this industry then, it was like maybe a 10 billion rand kind of industry. Now it's like 22 billion rand industry, because I follow it. And the industry, it's so saturated in such a point where you barely see any locals trying to break into this industry. Whereas these kind of business proposals are being brought forward to CIFA, to NEF, to GEP, but then they don't respond in time. How do you make sure that we do have that direct link with you guys without having to go through these agencies that are delaying us to bring up the solutions that we need immediately?
No, number 6, yes, number 6. My apology.
Dumelang kaofela. Ka lebitso thusana hore re uplifte makoishene a rona ka tsela tsa kgwebo le focusa ho township economy. Fa re ba movile to Germiston, whereby already bo maspoto le bo raspoto ba mo re a sokola. So ever e le hore se ba ile ho le jwalo ba ka kgona, how can they maybe ba tle ka plan ya hore ba thole, even if ka ba an office or ba be le matsatsi e leng hore ba kgona hore ba ka tla ba tlo nka dillo tsa, if ever a ke tsebe hore batho ba aware ka yona code of conduct ha o le masport ha wa tlameha hore o banele o rekise di cases o be the code of conduct SAB ha e dumelle re yere le stoka mo ene jwala ha bosana profit. So le ka se etse hore ho bane le menyetla wo wa hore le rona ka di code of conduct office Germiston ba lo fitla jwang mo, because o thola hore kana kongwe o sebetsa a le one hana motho a msebeletsang, whereby ha ona le ntho a tlameleng a lo etsa office.
People might not be following through. Let's take number 7.
Tabang Mahlatsi. I come from Three Rivers, from a company called Destination Mzansi. It's a big problem. We cannot do anything. You can't have a solution at local level and try and implement it with the government. Not pass China, you can't pass China. Let me look at it. Marat, let me look at it. That into their block. Understand? Challenge. In Sedibeng as a whole, man, Rutika infrastructure along where it's ailing. But when we try to, you are taken from pillar to post. There's a specific piece of land that we are eyeing. Currently, there's squatters who are going into the space. And when you talk to the municipality and say, give me this, they say you must go to that department first. Number 1. Number 2, DFIs. What's the difference between the DFIs, Starona, Momzansi, Sedibeng? There's no difference. Because the requirements it's alone. Most of them can go ITC. And yet, the official TFI, they still tell you about a formula or you must consent to
us or have an engagement with any one of us, so that we also follow up on those specific issues as part of our oversight a role. So we're done with the 7 hands that were raised on the left. We're now going to take the 4 from the middle. Again.
Ki itumele makala. Itumeleng. Ki tlo botsetsa batho ba disability ba intellectual. Because most ya batho ba intellectual disability they cannot read and write.
We've heard it. I get let's hear the department. As we also welcome, it's also going to fashion responses to some of your questions. May you do it? Hey, I be our last bag. Bolela man. I will not have been one. Umanat.
Eh, you're right.
Okay, sharp. Ugo bungos ungozi yako.
Uyelo ngumsaya.
Ugo. Uga. Yeah.
No, cha, baphathi, bengithi ngibuzela ukuthi mhla next time, athi are benefited kulo mhlangano. Ngiphinde ngibuze ukuthi, ngicabanga ukuthi abantu aba-disadvantaged kakhulu la, abantu baselokishini. And ama-plans zonke akhona la, dumping site. How do you take somebody to a dumping site yase Everton North? Ngihlale Everton North Ward 19, mhlawumbe ngizange sayichaza. You take somebody, how do you have an interest yokuba ku tourism industry when you see indawo ohlala kuyona, even noma ufuna ukuyenza kufanele kuqala umuve uyohlala eSandton ukuze ukwazi ukwenza lezi zinto. Uma ukhuluma ngomama bomchayina ukhuluma ngathi ikhona iplan yokuthi kulegalize lezi zinto ezenzeka elokishini noma useless kufanele zibe illegal and akuna plan yokuzilegalize. Ngiyabonga.
All right. Memam Zobe, you are represented again. Yeah, okay. Let's take number 2.
Number 3.
Eh? Oh, number 3, yes.
Anqale nami ndiyibulise indlu yonke iphela. Mna igama dithi mandibulise indlu yonke iphela. Igama mna ndinguNothemba wakwaBhudu. Ngokokuhlala ndihlala lana eWard 15. I-concern yam ngapha kwale department ye-economic ekhona apha. Sa-applya ngo-2024 for ama-licenses wama-taxi. Kufanele khona siyoclaima khona ama-licenses. Once bakhutywa yinto encinci, awukwazi ukungena and you'll end up now into edala ukuthi mandiphakame mandibona yonke lama funding athe aphuma khona apha a supplier lama companies awasupplyilileyo apha eGEP le apha next door xa uyakhona uyo applya baxelela into ukuthi ama systems wabo awasebenzi bakunike incwadi ubhalise igama since ke ngo2024 2025 bekuyilonto leyo A1. But now ndiyamangala mangabe kunama businesses aye akwazi ukuthi approve. So ndiyacela government wethu ukuthi khake nisincede. Khake nisilandelelele because siyafuna ukuphuhla. At the same time bendizocela ukuthi i-department ye farming isihlanganise singabantu be farming and we are a group of yabantu about 4. So ndiyacela i-farming ukuthi mayike infake ezintweni ndikwazi ukuthi ndi-applye ndikwazi nokuthi izinto ekufanele ndizilandelelele zeziphi na. Ndiyacela kakhulu enkosi.
All right. Rotule me mano mathemba ke. Okay. We're going to advise you on agriculture because there's also a department of agriculture. So we'll give you somebody there. Let's go to number 4.
Dumelang ka tlung. Ka lebitso ke nna Tisetso Chakela from 7 Colors Agri and Botleba Bay Cooperative. Ke Tisetso Chakela. Tisetso. Potso ya pele ke hore ke utlwile ntate Ndaba a bua ka agro processing. Ke batla ho tseba hore re le fihlella jwang mabapi le tsona taba tsa agro processing. Le ntate Mogorosi o na bua about incubation programs that would interest us because re na le youth e ngata e interested in ICT skills. Re na le teaching programs ka hara co-op ya rona le my private company. So ke batla ho tseba hore how do we best access the programs that you guys have, and how are we supported during the exposure to export market? Ke a leboha.
All right, get it, Willie. Okay, so refer this again. Come on, on Mazoma 4. Kamu right there, there are 9 hands. 9 again. Are starting number 1. Agree Nelly Luna, yeah. And then yeah, Rofele let's go Marahoga.
Thanks for the opportunity, Chair and the Portfolio Committee. My name is Sam Shabalala. I'm representing the Gauteng Disability Business Chamber. Chair, SHA. Yes. So, my point here, last year around March, financial year end, we had a meeting with the MEC, the Ohang Maile, at the Gauteng Gambling Board. He accommodated us there as a chamber. We discussed issues same as to your concern on the saying they only achieving 0.5%, and their reason being companies of people with disabilities are not there, as if we don't, pointing to us in the gallery saying the members of the GDBC are here, and then we advocated for that so that departments across especially entrepreneurs with disabilities. So how we are formulated is that in the 5 different regions, we have representatives, especially like for here in Sedibeng, there is a Sedibeng Disability Business Chamber where people with concerns around issues on how to get assistance can touch base first with the local chamber. But now, my request is to ask for a meeting with the committee. I heard you say we must make it formal. Then by that, I would like to extend to say we'd appreciate if we would get the email, the correct email, where we can send our request to a meeting. Thank you.
All right, yeah. I think those are critical issues. And I know I've also met with I think your organization, but will reflect who we met, and we introduced them to a number of MECs. So HOD, we may want to facilitate the session here because these reports, just we can't have them going forward. So maybe let's log a meeting and then reflect ourselves on inputs and interventions. Because across the number of agencies, the report doesn't look good. You know, it sort of supposes that they are the formal and organized structures of people with disabilities. And it would be a foxpaw. So I think let's remedy that, because 1%, 2% just doesn't cut it. You know, more role we're going to put on our boxing gloves and box you. We can't. But the measure of a progressive society, it's how it treats its most vulnerable. So the indicators now are suggesting something else. So we really need to come closer to resolving these issues. Let's go to number 2. Welcome, Honorable Kune, Deputy Chair of Chairs, also from the VAL, isn't it? Yeah. Okay.
Dumelang batho kaofela le committee kaofela. Nna ke Ndibuo Sumbana ka lebitso, ke tholala ka Beveli.
Bitso la mama ke ma?
Ndibuo Sumbana.
Diboso.
Ndibuo Sumbana. Ke Movenda, ke
Oh.
Svenda. Ke tsa Ndibuo Sumbana. Ke tholala Beveli ka phase 5, Ward 28. Nna ke emi mona ki emetse taba ya business, ki motho a ratang business haholo. Ki na le kgwebo ya tech shop. So ki a tsamaya haholo ki kena re kokota menyako, a re thole thuso. So ki tlile mo kajeko today, ki tlo batla ho utlwa haholo hore re thusale rena batho ba di tech shop tse nyane, ba di business tse nyane, re tlame re e kae. Cause re dula re tsamaya o thuwa tsamayang le ka re lo botsa teng, a re fitla re kokota menyako, a re thole thuso. Re applyile, a re thole di message, a re thole di feedback hore re tle ko kae. So ne ke re batho ba baholo ne re kopa le re thuse rena batho ba location, o tshwana le ona ka Beveli ka mo ke ba bangata batho ba sebetsang ba rekisang ba di tech shop, but a re thole thuso cause tech shop tse tswelang pele no a le ka sheba ke di tech shop tsa batho ba tswang ka ntle. So rona batho ba mona South Africa re fella di tech shop tsa rona re di kwetse. So ka kopo batho ba baholo ne re kopa hore le re thuse le rona le re bontshe tsela hore tlame re e kae.
Le wile Memadibo, o go re botse mo Memadibo. Ke tse di feng di
Dumelang ke batla o correcta. Ke Ndibuo Sumbana.
Oh, Ndibuo. Okay, waskwemba. Ke batla mbotse mo, where have you gone? Which agencies? Le gono go bola re ke tse di feng di agencies le re nkile la ya go bona.
A ke hopole di agency tse rile ra ya ka tsona, rile ra invite wa ko zone 13. Ke mo ne re tsamaya teng di meetings tsa teng tseo. Ba re register di company, ba re registerile di company, ba re tle re tlo di checka ko Fernageng ha re ya mo a ba re thuse ka next.
All right, next time ke kopa ro a o ile go kopanong or ko workshop o ba butse gore le tswale le ko kae akere, so that o record re ba tlo itse, because if nkile wa kopana le di agencies tse di le teng mo ba sa o thusa re kgono sala mara mara re sa tse gore ke tse di feng, because akere o na le di entities tse le or di agencies tsa municipality motlhomong o na le tse le gore di tswa di le ko national
things. So instead of building our businesses, instead of equipping ourselves, we are stuck again because the system that is supposed to help us register, now we also have to pay a fee. Why does the government not have a service, a company, a state-owned enterprise that offers businesses to register for free? A company that allows us to register our businesses free of charge. This is what we need. NYDA, there are compliances that we must meet. Chairperson, he mentions all of these agencies. All of these agencies have requirements. These requirements, we do not meet them because we do not know them. Because these things, they are not brought to the community. There's 50 people that were trained in Sedibeng, but we are not trained because we don't know. There is lack of information that we cannot access. We do not know. These things are not advertised enough. And it is because they are selected people that are already identified to get these opportunities.
All right, give me a say again. All right, let's go to number 4.
Okay, I can do medicine go fella. Yeah, going to papi myself from what 17 Golden Gardens. Hey, Chairperson, the criteria that you are using in terms of funding these business people, companies, and then the issue regarding that, even if moto agaro apply, but then you find that amongst, like you said before, right, people must just join together, even concession join DJVs. But then what's going to happen if somebody go under ITC and the other one is not into ITC? Will that thing also generate those things or no? I guess apply because of that other person. I mean, funding because that other person, which is the partner, is not eligible for funding because of blacklisted. The funding of which where I come from, Golden Gardens, I've seen the figures are around 14,000. Almost 500,000. But then we don't know, over that slide, it doesn't even say, from that 500 million, how many of the people were funded, as compared to the one from Golden Gardens of 14,000. So it doesn't say a lot. It means like you got a number for Kenya, or no, the presentation, or no, the economic development committee is working. So, you find that people are abused by laws, municipality. As the legislature, can't you amend the laws against those people? They have to come with bribes so that they can keep on selling there. Whereas they have to compete with the big giants inside the malls. Can't you give them stalls, stalls as the development, tourism event? They see the place is beautiful and it's nice. Thank you.
Number 5.
All right, man. Nyokana, Ward 17.
Are le tshware ke mang?
Siviwe Nyokana.
Siviwe.
Yes, Nyokana. Mna utywala. Kunabantu abathengisa utywala uthola bahlala kwindawo zehostele emikhukhwini and abantu bayavota okokuqala and xa kuvotwa bayadingeka but abakhoni ukuthola ilicense zokuthengisa utywala and utywala baphila ngazo. Ingabe ugovernment ubancedisa njani abantu abanjalo? Number 2, siya kwimabhizinisi. Kunabantu abanamathenda. Uthola ukuthi umuntu uthola ithenda and unikezwa as a fix and supply. Lo muntu lo akakhoni kuba nayo imali ugcina abantu abatsha bengakhona ukuphumelela cause ngeyiphi indlela iJP engafikelela ngayo kubantu abanjalo like igcwele ezilokishini abantu abatsha bagcina bengaphumeleli benawo ama-CK kodwa bazi bangancedela kanjani. Ningasincedisa njani kwindawo ezinjalo? Nkosi.
Okay, Rutlule, that is usual. Siviwe. Civile. Siviwe. Let's take number 6.
Khotsong batswadi. Ke a le dumedisa. Le cabinet e ntle mo. Ya ho chairperson. Ke na le taba tse tharo tse ka bang pedi. Ka lebitso ke Tukiso Sefane ke Mofokeng. Ke tswa Ward 12. Ke ka ga mokgatlo ona o thweng kwa rights to housing. Hape ke ka mokgatlo ona wa garden. Wa temo. Jwale ne ke batla ho bana le dipotso ho wena chairperson. Hore ha le tla le fana ka ha le tlo fana ka report ya budget. Le tseba ho tla ho rona. Mara tjhelete ha e kena ha le tle ho rona. Le tlo re jwetse. Number 2, a ska ka tsheya ke ntwe nnete. Number 2 ke ya hore if it is councillors tsa rona tse re nang le tsona ka hara Gauteng legislature nka be re sa tsebe ka kopano ena. So kopa ke le dimedieng ke le keneng ka hara makeishene le re tsebiseng nka be re tlile re le bangata mo ba tshwana le business ba tlo ikutlwela ka maka tsebe tsa bona. So ne ke kopa tswetswe ke tla ho ya liquor board re na le office mo la Franageng number 36 Merriman Street mara ku tlo bua ka yona o tshwere Joburg mara office ya existence le teng ka Franageng ka mo ene ntse sebetsa ka liquor board. Ya o qetela e ke nang le yona ke ya hore re kopa lenkele vale hlohong Gauteng legislature dintho tse ngata di etsa ha le vale di etsa la bo Joburg ke bokae re kopa ke le teng ka ga makeishene a bo rona re thole di hub Sharpeville ana hub ha ena next ene ke play ke loring molao wa country ya rona o sa eno te Sharpeville mara ha ona next re kopa Gauteng legislature e ke re thuse a holo masipala ba ke ba shebe makeishene a bo rona a jwang ke a lebo.
Okay. Let's take number 7.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Pastor Joris Jacobs. I'm from Restafal, Ward 16. You know, I've been sitting and there's so many things that I want to highlight, but I'll just touch on a few. The first thing that I want to say is that because we are the forgotten child or the stepchild of the vow, and there's nothing that is going on in our community, especially in our community, Restafal. We don't have a skill center. We don't have even a community center. We don't even have an information hub where children can go to after school, where they can do drama, and etc., etc. So that's a big issue. And so also, I want to speak about the SMMEs. We have so many SMMEs in our community, but they don't get assistance with funding. They don't even get exposure. There's nothing that is happening with our SMMEs. I saw the list that you guys compiled. I saw all the places. I saw Shovel. I saw Sedibeng, but I never saw Restafal that has been assisted by GEP for funding. In our communities, there's many people that wants to start up tuck shops. They send them from pillar to post. They don't get assistance. They want to infiltrate that market in Restafal. And we are just lucky that there was somebody that knows that we are in business. So they called us to say, come to this meeting. Otherwise, we would not have known about this meeting. And so therefore, we are asking that, don't forget Restafal. There's still a colored community in the Val that is Restafal. We don't get nothing when it comes to service delivery or anything. And our small businesses would really like assistance. They would really like financial assistance. They would really like training. And I can give you an example quickly. There's certain people I know, they went to GEP for funding. They've been called to say that, listen, there's outstanding documents, please come and submit them. They went to go and submit the outstanding documents only to find out no reply, no response. They are still in the air waiting and nothing has happened. Myself, I went to GEP. They assisted us with registering our businesses to register. They assisted us very well. But when it comes to the funding part, we never get funding. And I went, you'll go in the middle of the financial year, you'll go in the beginning of the financial year, you'll go in the end of the financial year. They'll only tell you that funding is finished. There's no funding. There's no funding. So, you know what breaks my heart? To see on the list that so many places has been assisted, but there's not even one SMME from our community, Restafal, that has been assisted. God bless you. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Jacobs. Let's go to number 8.
Sanibonani. Igama uTheko Simon Nyambose. Ngibuya eWard 11. Mina I'm in farming business. Ngisebenza ngenkomo ezibovu. Amabhonsmara. So sihlalo njengoba senifikile lana ekhaya bese ngicela ukuthi mhlazana nibuyela la mhlambe or manje ukuthi nithole ithuba maniza kithi nize nisiphathele mhlambe ama farmers whereby mhlambe awasebenzi so that we can maybe apply and ukuthi sikhona ukuthi siza abanye abantu ngamanje lokho sikuthola masema officeini bathi thina fanele siphume si identify what called ama plus lawa ngasebenzi then siphinde sibele ama officeini so sihlalo ngicela ukuthi okunye indaba ye feeding ngoba manje as the president ushilo ukuthi sinenkinga le FMD so sicela uminister azame ukuthi asiphuthumele ngalo sifo lesamatelo okunye ngicela ukuthi sikhulume no lokunjana no lo waphethe farming ngiyabonga
reflect our collaborative arrangements with the Department of Agriculture. But I know they do have got programs where they support farmers with inputs. So if you are doing subsistence or commercial farming, they can support with identified tools as well as machinery process. But I just thought we need to bring the department closer to those who are involved with farming, to assist the likes of Nyambozi and others. Let's take number 9.
Chairperson, lebitso la ka ke Sentle wa Hathwala, ke tswa from Ratanda in Heidelberg. And then ke ema ke representa an organization e bitswang Greater Lesedi Small Business Development. Ele ka hara community e leng hore ba kgonne hore ba nke business from the foreign nationals ka hara community. But with that, the sad part is, jwalo ka re nkile business, ditlamorao tsa teng di batla di le bohloko. I think it's common knowledge hore ka hara Ratanda, we have lost about 8 members of the community go businessing ka baka la yona this process. Now, ne ke rata ho botsa hore na ebe lefapheng la economic development, e ka ba ho na le se itseng se ba ka re fang sona in regards to hore re kgone ho secure a business ka hara our communities, kapa local communities. Because at the moment as we speak, the only place to run to is Madlanga Commission. And there's always problems every single time when you visit the stores, the SAPS. So perhaps maybe ukabali some structures or a government so that they don't secure the business. Because the thing is, even recompete the so-called my friend, chances of our businesses or the collapse are very high because they are working in collaboration, and as one of the oiled operatives. So Rona Riema, we are still starting up, and then it's wholly difficult. But then again, directed to GEP, I'm very glad to hear and understand within the community, Agoratanda already run about 13%, they are funding from them. So that is highly commended. And then the financial support from GEP for support the businesses, they long already sent the ML license. The criteria, yeah, the requirements, who born, iba ing kapa the minimum of them iba ing so that batohona ore ba be maemo wa ore ba ka kgona ho qualify for the fundings. And then again, ke kgonne ho utlwa hore ho na le the conditions tsa the support regarding the non-financial operatives. Hore support e banting e ka ba eng, understanding hore at the moment ntoka ya short kapa harna access to yona iba at most the workshops and trainings sessions hore batho ba kgone ho understand hore the businesses di run jwang. And then ke kopa ho feta ke directed the next question to okay, who can I be ke batla ke gambling board. Oh, my apologies. Who gambling board? Ke kopa ho botsa fela hore for one to acquire a license for gambling, o align dintho tse ngata ntate a etsa an example ka di card and so forth. But re na le di gaming arcades tse leng hore di teng within the communities. We have pool tables and so forth. So number kapa the magnitude of appliances tse leng hore one possesses hore a kgone ho qualify to get a license, eba eng hore at least I operate legally. Ke a leboha.
All right, thank you very much. And that Twana. I agree, that sums it up. I agree. There are only 9 hands again. If I'm not mistaken, there were 9 hands. So, Bahuli Betele Mato. Betele Mato, you've done very well. Again, we started at 12. It's now 1:15. And if you will, if you pay close attention to speak beyond the 2 minutes, again. So, negi dila ka ntho ele ya suspicion e lanta de themba ya re la re gatella. So we allowed everybody to speak. We allowed everybody. So mona go nya ona no. Re tlo go pa lefapha gore le tle mo pele mo to respond to inputs, comments, as well as the points. I get ba tlo ba arabe. And I get a simolla mo le re bontsi gore I get ready to go. And I get dumellano, I get arahatella mode. So I get what Rona Bano remisa matsoa mang ka re re senya. Re lo tlhagatlhagantsha ba. Re kupile ra etsa boikopelo tswetswe. Re wa ba tlo bua space ke seo. So a re ba tlo encourage motho mo kra re e go utlwile o la bua le nna re ke bue so. A re etse ba but what we'll do, even when we have closed off the meeting, re sa mmane re le teng. If o na le dipotso tsa maya, nako ngwe batho ba botsa dipotso, a ba fetsa e ba tsamaya. Re batla gore le utlwelele the responses. A ke re ya utlwa space ke seo. But as the HOD ascends, Maholo, a number of you also raises issues that relates to the municipality. But of course, there's nothing that prohibits you to register them here. Because beyond the specific portfolio committee, there's another will be sponsored there so that they liaise with the relevant municipalities. Agree about. So not everything might be responded to as might relate to the municipality. No, they are still important. Mardibata other platforms. For instance, when you say we want sporting infrastructure, it might be an issue that across the Val, there's a complaint, but there's nothing. There are no craft hubs, there are no sporting facilities, therefore maybe consider doing an oversight visit in Rasteval. But that's if the visit from the department. There's no information flow to our communities, you know. And a number of people would have spoken about their own respective communities. So we may have to decide and maximize and intensify our drive to ensure that all these communities in the Val area, but in the broader environs of our province, also receive information about the...
Yeah, thank you, Program Director, and good morning to all you members and members of the committee. I thought that meeting we were going to finish it earlier and be able to join you. I arrived here at 7:45, Chairperson. Once I finish, I come this side, but unfortunately, it took longer than expected. It's not a sign of disrespect. Together with Westrand, that we want to change it in terms of its contribution to the economy. Renale, City of Johannesburg, City of Ekurhuleni, City of Tshwane. The 3 cities, they contribute more than 90% of the economy of Gauteng, while the 2 regions, they contribute less than 10%. Members, let me also indicate that I think one thing that came out for the few questions that I've listened is the flow of information. I think as a department, together with our entities, working with municipalities, we should come up with this flow of information. There are regular road shows in all the regions in Gauteng to make sure that people get. I must also mention that next month, the Department of Small Business Development at national level, together with our department, they will be going the 5 regions in Gauteng to try to share with communities and funds they have. They've got funds for young people, because I think small business, they will have 1 roadshow per region, which I think is not enough. So national government, provincial government, and local government, we are working together. I must also further indicate, Chair, that we members accept that Gauteng is made of local municipalities. Is made of what? So I share with you all that information. These days, it's very easy to register a business. It's all about information, SEOGP. You don't even, and I think as GP, we should make sure that all our offices in all regions, they've got that access to data, so that people can just come there. Within a day, your business will be registered. And for older people, I will be worried, but for somebody like you, you should be able to navigate that system easily. Within a day, you can register a business. We make that possible. On the issue of agriculture, from our side, we work with Department of both national and at provincial level, but we are more concerned about the agro processing part of it, in that regard. The other thing, Chair, that I thought I should mention is the issue of that we can sit down here with you now and give you that information. I think colleagues are out there, and the CEO is also here listening. So he will make sure that as part of his road shows, those are the kind of things that are communicated well with everybody else. Chair, let me allow Mr. Ndaba to close some of the gaps. Then from there, I will ask Gauteng Enterprise Popular CEO to give his comment. To speak specifically on the issues of incubation, issues of exports. I'll also ask Gauteng Liquor Board to give their comment there. I know there's somebody who gambling. GGB will be able to talk to that. Yeah, maybe in that order, Chair. I know I missed some of the questions at the beginning, but let me allow Mr. Ndaba, who has been here longer than me, to take care of those gaps and make sure that he leaves specific questions to the entities. Thank you.
No, thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Chair. I just want to respond to a few issues. So the first one, maybe perhaps I need to start by indicating that as a department, what we normally do, I'm sure most of you have seen that I've been frantically capturing all the comments and all the inputs that the meeting has been making. So what we do, we craft a report, which then we circulate to relevant departments, relevant. So for example, there would have been issues that have been raised here that would be very important that local municipalities through IGR structures I wanted to emphasize, HOD as well as Chairperson. There's another pertinent question, Chair, that was asked to say, what is the role of this platform? I'm sure Chair will add, then the department is able to do activations in those various spaces so that we'll be able to disseminate that information. But of course, by legislation, we are requested to account. We use the budget public purse, so we're expected to provide an account of how we've used the public purse in furtherance of the mandate. I'll encourage especially youth to access the website of the department. In fact, the beauty of our website as GPG is that it's an integrated website. So when you are in that platform, you are able to not only see economic development, but you are also able to see what other is relevant. There's job opportunities. There's also processes on how, for example, you can apply for various products that has in its portfolio.
You don't need to take all the questions.
Just two more, and then I'm going to give it to JP. And then on the issue, we do have activations that various units in the department, like consumer affairs, they usually would be part of, including the Gauteng. One last item that I wanted to speak to HOD is, the information that as a department would be able to share the report emanating from this meeting. And just a request is not, I'm not responding to a point. There's a request from a chamber to say they would like to have a meeting with a legislature. May I request that the department be included in that meeting through inclusive economy? I'll also activate the office of the CFO as well, because we are determined to make sure that come Q4 as well as the new financial year, we do achieve the target for people with disabilities. HOD, I think the next one is to speak is GEP.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Before you give CEO, you can also delegate if you want to. I see you are delegating. But there's one thing that I wanted to mention. I was quite, what's the right word? Yeah, I was quite touched up by, yes. Yeah, those who know me, this part of the society is one of those that very close to my heart. So I've agreed with the CEO that that's the first point, so that we can get closer to them, to assist them, so that when government need to get services, they can help them. If the ideas are powerful, we can help you to design a business plan where some of you, we hope you can end up running your own, people living with disability, black people, to run their own businesses and be job creators. So that's the program that we want to champion.
We have to do that because we are operating in a regulated space in terms of the National Credit Act and also in terms of FICA. We are required to know our customers and those who have been waiting for GEP since. So I'm asking you to actually go talk to our colleagues at the bank. When you're speaking to GEP, if you said you have applied, we'll give you a reference number. If you said you have applied, we'll give you a reference number. Now we have created an online manager for Sedibeng. I would like you to contact the regional manager, but you can simply go to our desk there so that you can get details and you can set up the meetings so that you can meet with. And then there was also a question regarding the people with tenders requiring funding, how GEP can support. I think I did mention that we've got a contract or PO funding support where requirements you have fulfilled them. But we've got a simple process. Go to www.gep.co.za. Then you will see, go to our application portal, you will see if it says contract finance, go click there, all the requirements will be listed in there. And then also on the, I think the community of the, if Ristaval, I think as well, I think you can also go to the other side, but I think that's the message that will take to the regional manager as well, in terms of the outreach that we need to prioritize and go to that particular community. Then the broader one, I think the Greater Lesser Small Business Chamber As well, if you do not have a relationship with the GEP regional office in here, I think I also request that you also do create that relationship so that those those outreach events in those communities can be collaboration in doing that. Because the outreach doesn't need to happen when we all come in this fashion, but because we have offices in every region, continuously we're expecting that those community outreach are taking place. Then the criteria for GEP loan and non-financial support requirements, I think in the main, basic statutory compliance. If you do not cross that, you're not gonna go any further. We need that, and you must also prove that you, because it's a loan, you need to pay it back. You must present a business plan that proves that you'll be able to afford to pay the loan. Similarly, whether it's grant, statutory compliance is important. This is taxpayers' money. Whomever we are supporting, we need to make sure that it's somebody who's also in good standing in terms of tax, so that whatever you are reaping the reward of being a good citizen as well, so that even other business can benefit from this. Thank you.
Thank you, Osnesit. Thank you very much. I'll ask, Masakon, are you the one representing GP? I know that your licensing is not that straightforward, but yeah, that's the question that I had. But yeah, I'm sure you are an expert on that. You can handle that. Thanks. Yeah, I'm sure you are an expert on that. You can handle that. Thanks.
Thank you, HOD. Thank you, HOD, and thanks, Chair. Also, on the side which was talking about where and how do I get a license. There are these kind of licenses that are available and will encourage entities to be able to can participate in the gambling sector. I mentioned something in passing, we bridge the gap. How do we facilitate access of ordinary or our SMMEs to get into the gambling sector? Hence a need to have a joint venture and also look and explore the funding models to assist those coming organizations to enter into the gambling sector. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Recupenta Moros, answer the question, GGDA and its babies.
Thanks, HOD. We had two questions. One by my sister around here pertaining to the offering by the Ekasilab here in Sedibeng. We do have representation out there, and I would encourage that perhaps you go out there to accessing the service, but just for clarity purposes. And HOD, forgive me, I did not introduce my CEOs and the group CEO. I'm seated here next to the CEO for TIH, who may want to say a word or two. All right, you can come closer. So this is the lady responsible for the center at VUT, and she may want to respond directly to incubation and also the skills offering. Then I will stand up to speak to the export, access to market through the export market, if you allow, Richard.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ubonagele Gunene, and I think this is a young lady that asked the question on business incubation. So how we do recruitment, perhaps let me just backtrack on what Sir presented earlier. We are also quite sector specific in terms of the businesses that we recruit into the program. So we're looking for businesses that are in, okay, okay, all right. Yeah, colleagues, I just made the assumption that so I'm a business into a program here to see businesses that are sector specific, and see ideally we are looking for a business that are in agro processing, that are in the green space, that are also in the bio space and smart manufacturing. So the process yokuthi ufike kuthina how you get incubated. Siba nama pitching sessions and ama pitching sessions wethu uyafika upitch business idea yakho to a panel, and then the panel then will give you a feedback ukuthi how did your pitching go. Now the lady also asked, I think it was you ma'am, ukuthi how do you get this information? So we work quite closely with the TVET colleges and the universities. They help us a lot in terms of disseminating the information, but also community-based organizations. We work a lot with those, both in terms of recruitment and also on skills development. Also touching on skills development, that is how we also reach out to a community. If we have ICT skills training, we reach out through the community-based and the TVET colleges as well as the universities. First and foremost, to see and check the unemployed youth, giving them preference actually for the skills development. But also, with the Mfuleni municipalities, with the LED desk as well, the NYDA and any other state agencies. So information is there. We also do our own roadshows. From time to time, you will find me at Tabong Mall actually waiting with the pamphlet and giving it out to the community. So that's also our ways of reaching out. So I'm not sure if that was cleared up. Right.
With that said, HOD, I should hasten to say that divided into two. There's pre-incubation, which lasts not more than 18 months, and there's core incubation. Pre-incubation being services, business registration, and the like. But we do not do more than 36 months in the TIH-related incubation. It's a year-long program, but there are shorter programs that we offer. And in a way of offering access to market, we work with the DTICs or grants. And when opportunities have been identified, companies are assisted depending on taken with as export facilitation, where we help companies to actually identify access markets through identified opportunities in the export market.
Yeah. No, thank you very much. I'm not sure if whether there's any of the CEOs from GGDA group who want to say something. High level, just don't say too many things.
Sanbonani, Mr. Shabalala, ngisho you must attest to this house, which is Sebenza Sonke. We just had a meeting now recently with your organization, specifically with the organization, and work with the VAR Special Economic Zone. Thank you, HOD.
Dumelang hape bagolo, thank you so much. Ke tlo araba dipotso tsa di-shaping permits. Just to reintroduce myself, ke nna Tlio Budibelushaba from Gauteng Liquor Board. My question is what it's more about shaping permits and le ega babudlamini. Babudlamini, it is true. Gauteng Liquor Board at some point was issuing shaping permits. That's why Wabayi once off between 2003 and 2007. So unfortunately, as Sawayenzi shaping permits. However, Guma booklets lawa lapangapande between page 4 and 5 and page 17, there's other options, zamanye options we uktengisa utshwala. And then also ukhulume ngendaba yokuthi when are we converting shaping permits into licenses? Our legal team is currently working on that process. As ukuthi singasho ukuthi nini exactly, but it is something that we're working on. As Gabi show ukuthi zothatha which shape, kuzoba imalini and so on. As let's say baka ofela hore salile rekisa ka shaping permits, I get nzele sa patali in 7 to today, I get ne, by the shaping permits batseba. Okay, and then engwe mhlomong engathathang moyona ya me Mapiri Ramakhobotla. I think it was also on the shaping permits, but u raises something important. Yes, currently we have moved from Go 124 Go Germiston. And I think you were proposing, can't we then rotate? Instead of you, Lilo renew go Germiston, can't we rotate our team, Lukono who renew from the side? That is not a problem. I like that proposal, and certainly we will consider that one. Oh yeah, another thing on the code of conduct. Remember, rona re le Gauteng Liquor Board, asiyenzi ama code of conduct. Ama code of conduct, ama processes. A code of conduct as a license. Ki code of conduct in a sense for association it's pledging who the members sabona bata trader appropriately. And then motoring ya di 50 cases. Arukonu who regale ala wali regisa kodi libe more than 50 cases. Isiza to sa loko angithi siyazi SAB my figure is what will consider and see what it is that we can do, but we limit that to 50 cases. I understand the frustration in terms of SAP and imigomo nemibandela ye Gauteng Liquor Act. So a re tsebe hore re ka dumela that one. Emikhukhwini, the informal settlements, abantu bakhona ukuthi ba-applyele ama-license. Unfortunately, babangeke sikhona, and nazi izathu zakhona. Akere how dula ko hostel, awubili title deed akere. Gauteng Liquor Board, we license the premises, not the individual. That is why sizowara kakhulu ukuthi la uthengisa khona akhona na ama bathroom. Enough na uyakhona ukuthi uthengise ukudla and so on. So ema hostela ispace asikho, emikhukhwini ispace inkinga, and then njoba ngisho baba nguthola uri nadula momkhukhung in this section sathuthile ukaekai. How tuthi license? How fihla ko fihla nteng tshwantse o apply happy. So yizo lezo babnyokana izathu ezenza ukuthi emikhukhwini la singakhona ukuthi si consider ama licenses wakhona. Menier from Rastafal, we heard you, and yes, we will consider coming through. We have, I think, come through at Rastafal once or twice, but clearly we didn't make much impact. Certainly we will be. Thank you so much, Chair, members, HOD. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Chair, I'm not sure if whether there was any question for GTA. Was there a question for GTA? Okay. This means we are done. So, Mr. Zwane, are you here? Zweli.
Thank you so much. I just want to quickly deal with a few issues. I'm not sure whether they were responded to. Recently raised that issue of the contradiction between bylaw enforcement and the Liquor Act. So there was that issue. So in instances where it could appear that there are those nuances between bylaws, the legislation, we needed to make that clear, but there's a need for alignment. So maybe when you do the interface with municipalities, you might also want to examine their bylaws in respect of the municipality. It's safe to say that the national legislation would take a precedence. And then the other issue, I think raised by Ntate Matlhatsi, it's more infrastructural. Noting that there are infrastructural challenges, that even if you want to invest in business, in properties or buildings, it's something that might belong there. And then we spoke about people with disabilities and with more sectoral programs that fall within your purview. Agro processing, yeah, maybe go with a loan just with the HOD, and then they will redirect you properly, so that you gain more insights on that. And any intervention of government sounds in rents and cents. Not everything that government does will be for free. We're already running up their own entities as per the requirements. So I would not want us to overstretch it. I know the challenge that has been made, and it's in the report of CIPC, including SARS, and a number of other governmental institutions. Kore batho ba bang, ba bula di-company, and they leave it there. We're here to facilitate education, public education, number one. We're also here to, will then inform the content of future budgetary allocations. So you are given an opportunity to reflect jointly with everything that government does. And by the way, the department from time to time does interact with a number of stakeholders, similar to the provincial. The only thing that needs to be appreciated by all of you, Gauteng has got a number of other localities, so it would not only come to the Val area. Kobo Mahopane, Kobo West Rand, it must go Kobo Kuzo, it must go Kobo Force Local, Wedela, it must go to Soweto, it must go to Orange Farm. So you can imagine the number of localities that are there. So we must not easily assume that them coming on budgetary resource allocation. So I thought we should also clarify that part. So we're essentially here to involve you because the legitimating feature. So when you're asking us a question about why are you here, we can also in reverse ask you, why have you put us here? I get like reveal is derived from yourselves, can be held accountable by yourselves. I get like wishes. Ndate township businesses help with funding. I think it was clarified. Ndate Tukiso, I think I would have already spoken about budgetary issues. So that people know what are the programs of the department across the different programs, whether it's a tourism. And I think he makes a good point, right? Ronaldo from these communities which are economically strangulated, the township tourism opportunities. How can we do that? Similar to how there's a current bill on the immigration, it's an amendment actually. Yeah, there's a discussion on that, on the Immigration Act. It's also their space. And then DD must also investigate. You know, so these are possibly regulatory and compliance issues which requires enforcement. You know, of a buyer selling food to school children being poisoned and all of that. So we just need to come closer in collaborating with the municipality. So I just thought those are some of the points which may not have been adequately responded to. But for the rest, I think the department, we have given ourselves a sufficiency of time to engage with the department. Department wants it, or if there's a liaise with them through the different portals, websites, social media platforms, Facebook, I can reach those spaces to ask your questions, to make your contributions as well. But organize yourselves as well. So that little pressurize Mr. Jacob Sewalla from Rastival on these issues. How are you resolving them? La mo phone la ntate Thulan phone ya hae ya parliament ya parliament le tshwenye phone mara le sa mo phone la nga dilo tse ding gore motho a batla dilo tse ding tse le re nga di maleba akere a re batle tse tsa mojolo sa phone ka lo tsa mojolo a re riso mo a re tsene mo go ra o lolele ntate mo a re tsene re batla go unlock di opportunities tsa moruo wa rona wa province akere. So ba holo ka ona mantswa ke rata o le leboa re fitlile go bokhutlong ba lenaneo la rona le le tsamaile akere le le tsamaileng sentle reporto tsa go NCOP a rena di reporto tsa di petitions which takes us to the conclusion mara ke batlo etsa announcement ne ya dijo and le tletse meeting for the right reasons mara ntse re le mo meeting ona le ba ba le re ba go ntle go ba bitsana ka setshomi more tshomi ke le eng go di taxi tsa lona and then dijo tsa lona di tlotsa ke di coordinator ba tlo le fela tsona go because a re ba tlo ro kry le shorta mo le shortisa ke batho ba le re ne ba se ka mara meeting wa rona ke re ne re na no re le tla serviwa from where you are mara ke re la bona holo e na le di entrance tse ngata la re kwetse mo le re kry le re ba ba itse di pleke tse ba gono sutla ke re a re batle ba so re tlo etsa boikopelo re le ya go di taxi tsa lona immediately after mo and then your coordinators are going to be called a ke re ke one net ke yona arrangement eo sa tlang ka di coordinator ka di taxi le tlo tla mo monyakong o ba re le tlo tsena ka mo a ke re and then le tlo fepiwa ko mo teng a ke re ba o like itse ba lona ba ntse le ba le ka mara meeting parliament before re tsena bo matateng a modimo a nne le lona a re tlhokomelle lona throughout the whole of the year re le buile re fitlhile mo bofelelong thank you